Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ariel Helwani's MMA Show!
Back in your life on this Monday, July 8, 2019. Hello again, everyone. I'm Ariel Helwani. Welcome back to the show. I missed you last week. I think you missed me as well. It was weird being off. It's been a while since we had a Monday off in the middle of the year, but it was great to be in Disney World with my family as I knock over my Happy Warrior thing. I do that every time. One of these days I'll learn to put it just over there. Anyway, I missed you. I appreciate everyone who reached out. I appreciate all the birthday messages today. Yes, today is my birthday. I'm 37 years young today, but if I'm being honest, I wouldn't want to do anything else on my 37th birthday. A long time ago, I dreamed of doing this show at ESPN on my 37th birthday, and so it is so great to be here on this Monday, July 8th. I was born at 8:33 a.m., so I'm officially 37. And what a weekend in Las Vegas I had. Holy smokes, UFC 239, International Fight Week, NBA Summer League. I mean, it was just amazing. The Hall of Fame, the press conferences, the pageantry. It was just amazing. So much to discuss as it pertains to 239. We are coming off an unbelievable card, in my opinion. The main card in particular was truly entertaining, and probably the best part of the whole thing was that it seems like the International Fight Week curse is over. UFC 189, Aldo out. UFC 200, Jones out. UFC 213. And you know what's so great about 213? Amanda Nunez pulls out within hours, right, of the event. Her character is assassinated. She is thrown under the bus. And 2 years later, here she is, one of the biggest stars in the sport, getting all kinds of love and praise. That was 213. 226 last year, Max Holloway out against Brian Ortega. But this year, we had the Sean O'Malley thing, but that was just a few weeks ago, so it doesn't really count as far as the curse is concerned, in my opinion. So I feel like the curse is over, and that is great news. Of course, the biggest news, Jon Jones retains his title in his first split decision victory. He wins over Thiago Santos, and Thiago Santos, wow, I give him a lot of props. Fought with what appeared to be an injured knee, landed some big shots. How about Jon Jones's chin? I don't understand the fans who are booing. Yeah, I know not every fight can be a Jorge Masvidal 5-second knockout. We know this. That was a fight where I think not one takedown, maybe one was landed. I mean, come on. What do you guys want? It's Jon Jones. Thiago Santos, this guy gave him, I mean, like, he gave him like one of his toughest fights. That was maybe Jon's toughest fight since the second DC fight or the Gustafsson fight at 165. Split decision? Come on. And a lot of people think Thiago Santos won that fight. It all came down to the second round, in my opinion. I had Santos winning the first. I had Santos winning the fifth. I had Jones winning the third and fourth. The second was dicey. It was so close. You could go either way. I'm not going to hate you if you pick Santos as the winner. I think Jones won it. And I don't subscribe to be the champion, you got to beat the champion. No, that's nonsense. You just have to win 3 rounds. That's how you become champion. Like, no one's scoring a fight and saying to themselves, did he do enough to beat the champion? No, you just have to win the round. And if you win 3 out of the 5 rounds, you're the champ. That's how it works. Stop saying that. It's silly. Anyway, so that was big news. Amanda Nunez knocking out Holly Holm. Holm suffers her first knockout loss in mixed martial arts. Had been knocked out in boxing, but never in MMA. And Nunez does it with the head kick. Beats her at her own game. And now Nunez has finishes over Ronda Rousey, Miesha Tate, Chris Cyborg, and Holly Holm, plus 2 victories over Valentina Shevchenko. Who is the person on this planet who says Amanda Nunez isn't the greatest female fighter of all time? And spare me the Megumi Fujis, spare me the whatever. I don't know who you're going to say. I know there's some hipster out there that's going to tell me, oh, there was someone who was fighting in hook and shoot back in the day. No, Amanda Nunez is the female GOAT, and there's no question about it whatsoever. She put an exclamation point, right? Or maybe I should say an explanation point on Saturday. And then, of course, Jorge Masvidal with the 5-second win, the fastest knockout in UFC history. He darts towards Ben Askren, knocks him out with a flying knee. That was the third flying knee knockout of the year. And in case you're wondering who he beat out, Dwayne Ludwig, Jonathan Goulet back in 2006. That was 6 seconds. Ryan Jimmo, the late Ryan Jimmo, over Anthony Peroche back in Calgary 2012. That was 7 seconds. And then there was also Chan Sung Jung against Mark Hominick in Toronto, 7 seconds. And Todd Duffy, Tim Hague, 7 seconds as well. Jorge Masvidal now has the record. You're looking at the record right over there. And if we're being honest, it probably could have been 3 seconds. But Jason Herzog was a little far. I'm not hating on Jason Herzog, the referee. Who would have thought it would have ended like this? Unbelievable. And even more amazing is the footage that we saw afterwards of Mike Brown. Mike Brown I think it was Mike Brown who posted it, of Masvidal like practicing this 2 days before, practicing that he was going to start the fight like that. We'll talk to Mike Brown about this. Also of note, Michael Chiesa with the win over Diego Sanchez, and Jan Blachowicz welcomes Luke Rockhold in the rudest way possible to the light heavyweight division. He knocks him out, and now we wonder what becomes of Luke Rockhold at 34 years young. Let me run down today's lineup, and we will get to our first guest of the day. At 4 o'clock, we will talk to the aforementioned Jorge Masvidal. Everyone wants to hear from the man they call Cuban Jesus. I thought the ESPN MMA social team, who continues to do an amazing job, had a great post on Saturday, the picture of him with his hands behind his back, saying that is the scariest picture in MMA right now. It's an amazing story what's happened to Jorge Masvidal, a veteran of the game, almost 50 fights, backyard brawls, all that stuff and more, now finally getting his due. I'm looking forward to talking to him. Israel Adesanya is back on October 5th. It was announced late last week. He is fighting Robert Whittaker. We don't know where. It appears like it's going to be Australia, but it's not 100% just yet. We'll get his thoughts on that. Also, we'll get his thoughts on John Jones saying he is, quote, light in the ass, end quote. That was a direct quote, by the way. Francis Ngannou had a huge win over JDS 2 weeks ago. We will talk to him about that and what's next for him. We will also talk to Ben Askren in his first interview since the loss. A lot of you are surprised that Ben Askren is doing this. I am not. The man shows up when he wins. He'll show up when he loses. Very thankful for that. We'll talk to Jimi Manuwa, who retired recently at around 2:45. Looking forward to talking to him. Dominick Reyes could be next for John Jones. John Jones wrote on Twitter that he's not sure if Dominick wants that smoke. We will find out at 2:25. Colby Covington returns to action on August 3rd against Robbie Lawler in Newark. Looking forward to getting his thoughts on that fight, why he's taking that fight, and, of course, the Askren fight as well. Michael Chiesa will stop by at 1:45, talk about his big win over Diego Sanchez. We'll talk to Mike Brown about his huge week. Won Coach of the Year at the World MMA Awards. ATT won Team of the Year. Masvidal, Nunez, huge weekend for one of the best coaches in the game. But first, let us talk to the man who became on Saturday the 4th featherweight in UFC history to start his career 6-0. He joins Jose Aldo, Conor McGregor, and Yair Rodriguez. He's now on an 8-fight winning streak. And now I'm just wondering, will he get the respect that he deserves? Arnold Almighty Allen. There he is, joining us from the Las Vegas airport. Arnold, how are you?
I'm good, mate. Yourself?
I'm doing great. How are you feeling? You happy? Your first trip to Vegas, your first fight in Vegas, your first fight in America. This is a big deal what you did on Saturday.
Yeah, I feel all right. I'm pretty tired, to be honest with you.
Why are you so tired?
I don't know. I've been knackered since the fight. I wanted to go out and do something yesterday, but I was just too tired.
Was that because of what happened in the fight or the post-fight celebration?
No, I don't know, maybe the whole week caught up with me. I was done. I went to In-N-Out and I was disappointed.
You know what? I agree with you. I think In-N-Out is overhyped. Is that what you mean? Like you felt like it should have been better?
Yeah. Oh, it's overhyped. It's hugely overhyped. You know, Wendy's is better than that.
Well, I don't know about that. Let's not get crazy.
No, it is.
I felt like the fries taste like cardboard, right?
I didn't even eat the fries. I had 2 double doubles. I was like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay, it's not bad.
But these people talk about it like it's like a gift from God. It's just kind of
I don't know.
Substandard.
It's okay.
That's where you had your post-fight celebratory meal?
Well, that was the next day.
Oh, okay.
The next day I just I wandered over there with my hobble leg. So.
How is your leg?
It's all right. I kicked his elbow a few times, so it hurts a bit. But I'm pretty sure I'm gonna get called baby shin by my coach when I get back. So, yeah.
So it wasn't necessarily anything he did to you. It was more what you did to him led to the leg being banged up.
Yeah, just when you like catch the elbows and stuff, it hurts a little bit. So
Hmm.
it's okay. It's all good.
How did you
Yeah.
feel about the body of work, the fight itself?
Yeah, it was everything I expected. It was kind of exactly what we planned, and it's sort of exactly how I envisioned it going. We knew he was a tough guy, so like we wasn't focusing too much on trying to get him out there. I mean, I did try a few times, but then I realized it was gonna be a tough guy to get out there, and I thought, okay, just keep picking him apart.
You know, I know that he's reaching the end of his career and people talk about his age, but I thought for the most part, like he stood toe to toe with you. He stood in the pocket. He did not run away. He did not shy away from exchanging. It was like for the majority of the fight, it felt like you guys were fighting in a phone booth there. Were you expecting that kind of pressure from him, that kind of pace?
Yeah, I was expecting a bit more pressure, but yeah, I so I watched it back yesterday, and like I knew how it was going to go. The first like minute or so, he came out like try to push me back and walk forward, and as soon as I sort of landed my left on him, he started backing up a little bit, and then he respected my power. I think as soon as he felt it, and then he knew he couldn't stand in front of me too long.
I asked you before the fight, what kind of Gilbert are you expecting? Because we had not seen him in 2 years. Now, after being in there with him, do you feel like he still has some fight left in him?
No, not really, not really. I'd like to see him retire in a nice way. As a fan, like growing up watching him, but I don't like to see guys fight too long.
Right. So you think this would be a good time for him?
Yeah, but I understand it's hard. You get paid good money, and it's hard to go out on a loss for sure.
Right.
Loss is,
It's the hardest thing for fighters, right? To know when to say when, because especially if you're not getting knocked out, you're probably thinking to yourself, well, if I do something different here, different there, I could get these W's, right? I mean, I feel like in all of sports, for fighters in particular, it's the hardest for them to know when to say when.
Yeah, obviously I haven't reached that point yet. So
Sure.
it's hard for me to understand, but I'd like to feel like when I'm done, I'm done, or the people around me are going to tell me like you're done, like stop it. But yeah, maybe he hasn't got the guys around him. I don't know. I don't know.
Could you have ever imagined that your UFC career would start like this, 6-0, in the conversation with guys like Aldo and McGregor? This is incredible stuff. Has this exceeded your expectations?
No, obviously I hold a very high standard for myself. And I wanna go all the way eventually. So yeah, I don't mind if I keep taking it slow and it keeps going this way. I'm happy. It's going well.
Do you feel like you took a big step forward on Saturday, getting to fight on a card like this?
Yeah, definitely. That's everything I wanted. I want to get on a big pay-per-view with the big names against the big name. I don't think they get too much bigger than Gilbert. So yeah, it's perfect.
What about getting to fight in Las Vegas? Was it everything that you dreamed of and more?
Yeah, like fighting in London is pretty cool because it's a huge arena. The crowd are pretty wild as well. So that prepared me for that, and it wasn't like I've never seen anything like that, and I've never been in an arena like that. So I felt pretty comfortable in there, to be honest. But yeah, fighting in Vegas is one of my big goals. Like all the major fights, the majority of major fights have been here. All the boxing fights have been here. Big UFCs are here. So
Right.
yeah, this is the place to be.
What did your mom think of the atmosphere? Where was she during the fight?
She was in the stand, but she was sat with my girlfriend and my friend's wife, and I don't think she watched too much. I think she had her head in her hands the whole time.
Oh, really?
So yeah, that's what I think. But I think she was happy after.
No fights, though.
No, she was good. She was well behaved.
No brouhahas. I feel like we need to get like a camera on your mom for one of these fights. I just want to see what she's like during one of your fights.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see that too.
Or at the very
I
least,
wouldn't want to be around.
what's that?
I wouldn't want to be around her when I'm fighting. Yeah.
I also want a camera on your dad. I want your dad. Has your dad ever been mic'd up in the corner for one of your fights?
Nah, no, he hasn't. But what he says really is, "Go on, son. That's it. Go on, honey." That's about it. Yeah.
He's more there for moral support and almost like as a bodyguard, right? He's not there for
Yeah.
like for
Exactly.
technical stuff.
Yeah, but he's the professional Tao fan, man. Reyes has taught him how to do the Tao thing, and he's mastered it. I think he's the best in the game at the minute.
Wow. Is he there with you right now?
No, they're flying tomorrow. They're
Oh.
flying back to Montreal tomorrow. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you're leaving before them?
Yeah, my mum messed up the flight. She got onto the wrong flight.
Wait a second. Your mom booked all the flights, but she booked you guys on different days?
No, I told her the flights we were on, but she decided to go on a different one. I don't know if they're having a party night in Vegas or something. Maybe.
So wait, they wanted to get rid of you. They wanted you out of the way so that they can really let their hair down.
That's what it sounded like to me.
Wow. That is amazing.
Yeah.
And so do you live full time in Montreal now?
No, I don't live there, but I spend probably the majority of my time there. I'm there most of the time. I'm going back to help teammate Louis Sandaki's fighting in Brave in a couple of weeks, and I fly back to London with him. So I want to try and give back to the team as well. I don't want to be one of those guys. I've done it before. I fight and I just go home for a bit and feel a bit selfish.
Right. So we talked also earlier about trying to be active. Now that the fight is out of the way, how soon do you want to return?
I mean, if the right offer comes for like December or something, the end of the year, I'll be happy with that. I'm not in a rush, so yeah.
Okay.
Summer's here as well. I like to relax a little bit. I've got some stuff I need to do on my Jeep. I've got some off-roading to do. I need to do some shit. Yeah.
You have some stuff that you need to do where?
Off-roading in my Jeep.
In your Jeep?
Yeah.
Like what?
Like driving over rocks and mountains and shit.
Okay. Oh, I thought you meant like you need to like soup it up. Like you want to put in speakers or something
Oh,
like
yeah.
that.
I need to do some, not speakers, like wheels and stuff. And
Yeah.
tires and winches.
Rims, all that stuff. What? That's your big thing? That's what you like to do?
Yeah, I like doing stuff. When I'm back home, we're in the country, so we just get like shit cars and take them off road, drive around fields and stuff.
What a
Fun.
life. That's amazing. Anyone come to mind? Who do we need to take? Who do we need? We need like a top, at least like top 6, 7, 8 opponent, like at the very least 8, right? Next.
I don't know. My manager will probably tell you otherwise. He's always he wants to take it slow, 25. So
Take it
whatever he's
slow.
doing is working. Yeah.
You don't feel like we need to expedite things now? You're 6-0 in the UFC.
Yeah, I hope, I'm not getting paid big money yet. So I mean,
That's right.
I'm not getting paid top 8 money. That's for sure. So,
That's a good point. How many fights left on this deal?
I think 2. Yeah.
Oh, so is the plan maybe to fight those out and then cash in?
I don't know. I'll do what I'm told by the big bull boss, man.
And would that be Dana White?
No, that's my manager.
Oh, okay.
He's another big bull boss man, I guess.
Any of those guys come up to you after the fight and say, "Hey, you're doing great"? You get any encouragement from the UFC bosses?
There was someone, but I can't remember. But it's a bit hectic after. It's all like a bit of a blur.
Right. Did you stick around and watch the rest of the card?
No, I watched Jorge's knockout. It was pretty nasty.
Yeah.
And then we left.
And then you left after that? Before the 2 title fights?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I'll go hang out with my family and stuff.
You guys didn't want to watch?
No. So I think I got a crowd.
Right. Did you see Michael Bisping? He was in town.
No, I didn't see him.
Oh.
I was chatting with Dan Hardy, but I didn't see Mike.
It feels like now you're the guy. You're the one carrying that flag for the Brits. This is a big deal.
I don't know. Who knows? Do
you feel comfortable?
One long ago, I was still upset. There was a St. George's Day, and they posted all the British fighters. They didn't even post me.
I know. I saw that.
I'm like, okay. They even posted, no offense, but they posted some retired guys. You know? Like,
right.
Come on. Yeah. Oh, whatever.
I saw they posted Brad Pickett, right? They put like no disrespect to those guys, but this goes back to my point that I was saying a couple of days ago. Like, when are you going to start to get that recognition?
Yeah. I thought it was a bit weird, but I don't want to be one of those guys.
You need to be one of those guys. If not, I'm going to be that guy for you, all right?
Yeah. Hype man. Nah, it's just weird, isn't it? You just see too much people posting weird shit every day on their social media, and like, you know, like 20 Instagram posts every day. They hit the pads. Like, yeah, we all train, man. Come on.
Yeah, it gets to be a little much.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm more interested to see what other stuff guys do, what they do other than fighting. But I guess the MMA fans want to see the fighters doing their fighting stuff. So.
I don't even know if they want to see that, to be honest. Like, to me, the best social media page as far as MMA fighters is concerned is Rat Garbage. I mean, that page is incredible.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite page.
It's just like random paintings of rats.
Yeah.
And garbage.
I guess it's art.
Yes, it is art. But no, you keep doing your thing, man. And I feel. By the way, I don't look at the UFC rankings. You are ranked, right? Please tell me you're ranked. So. Come on. Are you serious?
I don't think so. Unless something's changed, I don't think so.
Wait a second. Okay, we're talking 140. You are not ranked? This is a joke.
I don't think. Yeah.
6-0 in the UFC and you're not ranked?
Maybe I need to start talking some shit.
What is going on here, Arnold? I mean, honestly, I am flabbergasted. There have been a lot of things that have gotten me riled up about the UFC rankings. I don't even think the people on the ranking committee, like, I don't even think they're real human beings at this point. I don't even know who these people are. I've never recognized their names, never seen them before. But the fact that you're not even in the top 15, how is that possible? With all due respect to some of these names, I'm not going to say any of them. I don't want to call them out because I don't want them to think I'm disrespecting. But, like, wow, we need to change this.
I don't know. It is what it is, isn't it? But you're not the first person to say it. So I don't really look at the rankings too much, but everyone keeps saying it, so I guess it must be. I must deserve to be there.
We need a number next to your name there.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Wow, it is what it is.
Well, I'll tell you what. After this, I'm going to call Dana White. I have him on my my speed dial here. I'm going to put in a word to get this fixed. Okay.
Pulling in favors.
Yes. He's always willing to listen. Arnold, I appreciate it. Congratulations. Great win for you, my man. 6-0, like I said, in the UFC. You now join the likes of Jose Aldo, Conor McGregor, and Yair Rodriguez. 8-fight winning streak dating back to August of 2014. You probably don't even remember what it feels like to lose a fight, right? You don't remember that feeling. It's been so long.
I do. It hurts.
Oh.
I was 19 and it hurt.
Also, you landed a career high 102 significant strikes. Your previous high, you know what do you know what your previous high was in a fight?
No.
37.
No. Really?
Yes.
No wonder I'm not ranked. No, it's a boring fight.
That's according to the ESPN stats and info team here.
Keep up my numbers.
Well, you did. I mean, you tripled it. So that's a good start.
Yeah.
Well done.
I'd throw more punches than that.
That's good. 102 is nice. I like 102. That's a good number against someone like Gilbert Melendez. Well done. So congratulations on the win. Keep it up, my man. Safe travels, and thanks for doing this before you fly out.
No problem at all.
All right. Arnold Allen, thank you very much to him. Put some respect on this guy's name. I mean, really, not even ranked? Should be ashamed of yourselves. Great win for him over Gilbert Melendez. All right, before we get to our next guest, Mike Brown, I just want to tell you guys about something really special that's going on right now, right here at this company. Listen, if you're a big UFC fan, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. As a part of the ultimate UFC fan experience, you will get access to the ins and outs of the entire behind-the-scenes production. And the experience doesn't end after the fight, as you'll get a 1-year-long gym membership to a UFC gym to train yourself. Plus, enjoy all UFC fights with a year-long ESPN Plus subscription. This experience gives you and a guest the chance to A, receive 4 VIP tickets to attend UFC 243 on October 5th. B, attend a private meet and greet with Dana White. And if you meet him, let him know about Arnold Allen. He needs to be ranked. C, receive 2 VIP stage passes for a weigh-in. D, meet and greet and autograph session with fighters backstage. E, backstage pass and VIP tour of the production facility, including a tour of the production truck and ring access before the fight, aka cage access. What am I at? F, get a VIP tour of UFC headquarters. G, I'm starting to regret doing the letter thing. Receive a UFC gym membership for a year. You also receive an ESPN Plus subscription for a year and receive a pair of signed gloves from one of the main event fighters on that card. All you have to do is visit ebay.com/ESPN to bid on the ultimate UFC fan experience. 100% of the proceeds will benefit the V Foundation for Cancer Research because, like Jimmy V once said, the great Jim Valvano, in the fight against cancer, will never give up. Again, ebay.com/ESPN. Opportunity of a lifetime. Go check it out and bid. All proceeds to cancer research. Okay, we move along now. Can we show the clip? Do we have the clip of Jorge Masvidal? All right, so in a matter of seconds, we're going to say hello to Mike Brown. And after Masvidal's win, this clip was posted online. That is Jorge Masvidal practicing the flying knee. This wasn't a fluke. This wasn't a spur of the moment decision. This was something that they practiced, that they worked on, that they game planned. That was the game plan. Run at the guy. Stand up, lean on the cage, hands behind your back, go, run, knock him out. I mean, that might be one of the greatest game plans in the history of game plans. And so the brains behind that is Mike Brown. Like I said, he won the 2018 Coach of the Year award at the World MMA Awards. American Top Team was named Team of the Year, also at the World MMA Awards. And he's got a busy rest of the year coming up. I mean, look at some of these names that he has coached. Amanda Nunez, Dustin Poirier, of course, returning to action in September against Khabib Nurmagomedov. Joanna, Colby, I mean, the list goes on and on. Let us not waste any more time and say hello to the Coach of the Year, one Mike Brown, who is joining us right now. I do believe from Atlantic City, because I think he's there for Kayla Harrison's PFL fight. Mike, is that true?
Atlantic City, we're here.
We are here. No rest for you, Mike. When do you get a vacation?
Oh, man, never, man, never.
Never?
What a weekend, huh?
What a weekend. What a weekend. Is that... You've had some great weekends. Is this one at the top of the list?
That's up there. And it was pretty damn big.
Okay, first of all, congratulations on the Coach of the Year award, the Team of the Year award. That started the whole thing for you guys, right? I mean, that happened on Wednesday, so it was a nice way to start the week. What does that mean to you? Like, is this something you typically like to, stay away from the limelight? You're not a big showy kind of guy. What does it mean to you to get that kind of recognition?
I mean, it's cool, but it's what who decides the stuff, who votes on it. I mean, it's good. And it doesn't mean a whole lot, honestly, but it's cool. Nice to have that stuff, but whatever.
You're not going out like popping bottles afterwards.
No.
The fans vote on it, so it's nice recognition from the fans, but I get what you're saying. And then we get to the fight itself. Now, let's start with Jorge, and we just showed the clip right over there of him practicing the flying knee. You guys posted this afterwards. Let me ask you this. When did you come up with the idea that this is the way we should start the fight?
I mean, that wasn't my idea to come up with that. That's like George and Paulino's, or George. I'm not exactly sure whose idea it was, but George told me this is how he wanted to start the fight, a few months ago, or this is what he wants to do. So we're like, ordering some fresh new knee pads, try to start getting that timing for it down, start incorporating that in the sparring. But it's hard. What it's tough, though, it's hard to train for because you got to be safe. You don't want to kill your training partners.
Right.
But George has a really good feeling for technique and things like this. So he was doing it as safe as possible, trying to find that timing with his training partners without killing them. That's the tough part, But he was all the way down to the last day drilling that technique. Literally the day of, we were in the cage messing around with it just for him to get his footwork and his timing right, and he delivered, man.
So he comes up to you around a couple months ago and says, I want to start the fight like this, and you just say yes, like, all right, I'm in, let's do it?
Good idea, yeah. I'm not sure if it was Paulino's idea or his idea, but he thought that, dude, if I can't get up from being taken down, then I'm not in this fight anyway. So he believed in his wrestling, and he wanted to bring some heat early and make him pay early. So he wasn't afraid to take some risks.
this might be a hard question to answer, but how many times do you think that you guys drilled that leading up to the fight?
How many reps? I don't know, a lot,
Like over 100?
Yeah, probably over 100, probably.
Wow, that is amazing. And was there ever any point where you guys wavered and said, maybe we don't start like this?
No, I mean, like, whatever happens. I mean, if he misses, it's just like everything. How many jabs do you throw? How many crosses do you throw?
Sure.
How many times did he sprawl? Like, he did everything over 100 times. It's all all little pieces of the puzzle.
In this clip that we're looking at right over here, who's holding the pad?
Paulino Hernandez, that's his striking coach.
Okay, he's holding it. All right, I couldn't tell because it was happening so quickly. So that's amazing. And so when you guys are doing this and you're practicing, it's the game plan, and then you actually see it come to fruition and you see it land as spectacularly as it does. Is it possible to even put into words what is going through your mind?
Because what I knew is how big this was going to be, how everything's been developing.
Right.
How great he looked in his last fight, the build up for this fight. And I'm like, I think this might happen right away. I think he might knock him out right away with this thing. And if he does, this is going to be crazy. Like, I thought it was a good possibility. And just how Askren approaches the fight. Also, it's, there's only one move he makes.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's diving for the legs and he's bringing his head to his left every time, looking for that double or high crotch, so you knew where he was going. And I mean, and if you looked at how George started his fight with Till, it was similar, where he ran out and he was going to do like this crazy front kick, so it was very similar to that also, but the kick was a little low when you end up hitting Till in the balls, if you remember. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was like 1 second he had kicked him in the balls and they had to stop already. It was kind of weird,
Yes.
Weird and wild. But I knew it was going to be big, and man, he landed flush and then cracked him a few more times. It was pretty wild. But this is why George has so many weapons. I think he's got more technique and more weapons than anybody in the game. He drills and drills and drills and drills and works on new technique all the time. He has so many different things he can pull from. He's very good at boxing, very good Muay Thai, very good wrestling, very, very good. He's got Taekwondo techniques. He's got techniques from Jiu-Jitsu. He's got techniques from karate. He's got a lot of different weapons that he can pull from. And it's because he'll put in the time. He loves to work on new technique. He'll do a 3-hour session where 2 hours and 15 minutes of that is drilling. He's really big into that, and that's why I think he's so diverse.
And so, like I said, you've been around this game a long time as a fighter and now as a coach. That feeling to it's not a Hail Mary, so to speak, but you were trying to predict a pretty spectacular turn of events that, has never happened before, a knockout that quick. To see it actually come to fruition, of all the great moments you've had, that has to be up there as one of the greatest, right? As an active fighter, right? Like, to see it actually happen.
No, 100%. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, and I was even telling a few people about it. People tight to me. Obviously, we don't want to leak it out. But
sure,
like Dustin had tweeted it. I had talked to him about it, and I was like, check this shit out. This is what he's coming with, man. Look at this.
Oh my God, that is unbelievable.
To see him and dude, Ben Askren is no joke. This guy's 19-0.
Yeah,
and Olympian and 2-time Hodge Trophy winner. This guy is an elite wrestler and a very good fighter. So this is not against some scrub by any means.
How do you explain what's happened to Jorge as of late? Almost 50 fights on his record, not including the backyard brawls, 16 years in this game, and all of a sudden, he's becoming a superstar. He's a gigantic draw. The social media numbers, whenever he does anything, people just love him. But he's winning these fights, and he's doing so in spectacular fashion. Again, against Olympians, against Darren Till. The last, few months in his life, where has this Masvidal been?
He's always been amazing on the mic and really, really cool personality. I'm really surprised that they never gave him the mic earlier or pushed him, because he's a star, man, without a doubt, and his fighting speaks for itself, but he's a star. very good, really sincere, and a bad dude. The guy's been fighting on the street since he was a teenager, and he's a real fighter who's very skilled and game as they come. I'm surprised that he hasn't got the push earlier. But as far as actually performance, I noticed this before the Till fight. I said it to him. I've said it to many people. I don't know what it was. I asked him what he thought it was, and it was he had some personal things going on, some lifestyle changes, or some things where he got some drama out of his life and things like this, where he's more focused. I noticed it really in his conditioning, in the training. Conditioning was a lot better. He was going a lot longer, and I was like, man, your conditioning is much better than before. What's going on? And he's like, man, I got rid of all the drama. My head is clear, and I noticed it. I noticed it tremendously before the Till fight. And I didn't know if that was going to translate to anything. Maybe it was coincidence, whatever. But I did notice a big difference, in his focus and particularly his conditioning. And so far, so good.
It's amazing because he kind of used to be the king of the split decision, right? Where it was these really close fights against Iaquinta and Benson Henderson, all the Damian Maia, and even the Thompson fight, all these close fights. But now he's just coming out looking like a killer. So it's just amazing to see him get over that hump and see all these people get behind him and get these finishes. And now it seems like he's on the cusp of a title shot. But we've got a situation on our hands here, Mike. What are we going to do between him and Colby? It looks like it's coming down to a potential 2-horse race. What are you guys going to do about that?
I have no idea. We'll wait to see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But it would be a nice problem to have. Both two amazing fighters. And, if it's for the belt, it's for the belt. It's a lot of money. That's life-changing money. That's money for their family, for their kids, for the next generation even. But we'll cross that when we get there. And they're both deserving and, without a doubt, world-class badasses.
Will you corner Colby on August 3rd?
I'm not certain right now. I don't know yet. I've got a bunch of fights coming up, and I have every one so far. So, but I'm not certain.
Okay,
he hasn't talked to me about that, about going out with him.
If Masvidal fights Colby, would you corner Masvidal?
No, I don't think so. We cross that bridge when it comes, but that would. I'm not certain what's going to happen if that ever happens. First, I think one of them gets the belt, and then we see. I think if they fight, it would only be for a belt.
Right, right. Do you have any issues with the punches after he's out?
No, not really, because look at what Askren did in the Robbie fight. He looked like he was he was crushed in that, and he came back and won. You got to make sure that guy doesn't get back up.
Mm-hmm.
He took some really big shots. I thought he was done in the Robbie fight, and he came back and won. Right?
Right.
It wasn't far off from that. In the spur of the moment, you're reacting so quickly. It's you got to you just keep hitting them and until the ref pulls you off. Or sometimes those guys, they look dazed and confused. Next thing you know, he's in on your leg, and now you're on your ass. Next thing you know, he's got a bulldog choke. So you just keep swinging until the ref stops you.
All right, so now we have that situation that's going to play out. You also have the Amanda Nunez situation that is blossoming in front of our eyes as well. Someone who is finally getting this respect. If anyone, like I said, I don't know how anyone can argue against her being the greatest female fighter of all time. And you guys are on a roll. And I've heard Dan Lambert say this multiple times. Kyoji Horiguchi is the best fighter at ATT. How do you pick one? Amanda is in the conversation for best fighter, period, male or female. Jorge doing his thing, Colby doing his thing, Kyoji doing his thing. How can you say that Kyoji is the best fighter at ATT? Do you agree with that statement?
Well, you can't ever pick one. That's like the old pound for pound dilemma. It's you can never know. Is Batman tougher than Superman? This is like you can never prove it. So there's really no use in arguing. And you also don't want to pick your favorite kid either, right? So. Right. It's always apples and oranges. You don't want to pick one, but Kyoji Horiguchi is definitely no joke. I will say he's the he puts in more volume than anybody in the gym. Probably trains the most. You know, like I'm not sure how his body can handle it, but he puts in a lot of work, and he's freaky good. You know, it's I would really love to see him get that matchup with Henry or with DJ, but he's really a special guy. I think him beating Caldwell now twice is very impressive. I think stylistically that might have been the toughest match for him at 135 or 125 because he's a really big guy, and he's also very tough on top and long. Henry has better wrestling credentials, but as far as like on top ability to ride somebody, I would have to give that to Caldwell in that weight class. You know, NCAA champion, very tall, very long, tough to get away from if that guy's on top of you. Mm. So that's a very impressive victory for Horiguchi.
Have they talked to you guys about him potentially fighting John Lineker, who was just released?
And I haven't heard that. Kyoji's scheduled now to fight Kai Asakura in maybe a month or so in Japan.
Right.
He's busy.
Yes. You're as I mentioned, you're in Atlantic City for Kayla Harrison. I wanted to ask you about her as well because the last time we saw her, she was dominant. She won via decision, but she left the cage bawling, crying because she felt like I don't know. Explain to me why she was crying. I've never seen someone cry that much after a win. How do you explain this?
These are the freaks of the freaks. These athletes put these are the best of the best. They put crazy pressure on themselves for perfection. You know, she really holds herself to a high standard, and I mean, I thought it was a solid performance. You know, but she wants perfection, and if she doesn't feel the way she wants to feel in the fight, she's unhappy with herself. I thought it was good. We got a last-minute change. You know, we got the opponent maybe a week before, tougher than who we had. That doesn't really matter, but the girl was tough. You know, she had only 2 losses before that. Multiple-time UFC veteran, only had lost to UFC champions. So it was a solid girl. Not everybody you'll be able to put away, and she was just surviving and gave Kayla a chance to feel what it feels like to go 3 rounds. I thought that's good experience. But, you know, I was happy with it, but I know Kayla puts a lot of pressure on herself.
Yeah, and she returns action this Thursday at PFL. I think it's 5 as they return to ESPN. So I'm looking forward to seeing her back, and hopefully she doesn't put that kind of pressure. But again, as you said, that's what makes her so special. You also have Dustin Poirier coming up in September in the biggest fight of his life against Khabib in Abu Dhabi. How do you balance? So like here, we just saw you in Vegas. Now you're in Atlantic City. You've got a full schedule. You've got Kyoji in Japan. How do you balance doing all of that? But also you've got guys like Dustin who have the biggest fights of their life against, you know, guys who have never, like Khabib has lost like 2 rounds in his life. How do you balance the travel, but also being in the gym as you're helping to prepare these guys for these fights?
Yeah, it's a bit much. You know, I am traveling a little too much right now. But before his fight, I'll go to Andre's fight. I'll go out late for that, Andre Arlovsky. Then I'll have Kyoji. I'll have 2 more trips before Dustin's fight. So I'll be at the gym, you know, for 8 of the next 10 weeks or something like that. You know, so I'll be there the majority of the time, but I will be traveling some. Yeah, I mean it's not ideal, but we have a massive coaching staff and a lot of great coaches there to help him. Mo Lawal, Steve Mako, there to help him with the wrestling. With this Khabib fight, but Dia Davis, he's got many coaches. He's got a lot of help. We're it's an army, you know.
Yes,
we got a bunch of great coaches and a bunch of great training partners. Most of these fighters could be coaches in any gym in the world. So you're not just learning and training with the coaches; it's the fighters as well.
I love the addition of Mo Lawal to the coaching staff there at ATT. I think he's one of the smartest, fighters now, coaches in the game. So I'm really curious to see who he starts to develop as well. I have a feeling you are relishing the opportunity to figure out the puzzle that is Khabib Nurmagomedov. Like I'm sure you're already thinking about that, right? As training camp is about to start.
100%. But yeah, Mo is a huge addition to the team. Pitbull also. I think I mean, the team is already like really rocking and rolling, but I think these two additions are really big. You know, both have a deep, you know, a lot of knowledge in wrestling, striking, MMA. So I think the team's only going to get better. And yeah, I'm excited about the Khabib fight. It's an interesting matchup. And if you look at it, I think Kyoji just beat, I thought, the best, perhaps the best wrestler in his division, besides Henry, but the guy who's maybe the best top guy, best rider might be Darian Caldwell. And now Masvidal just beat the best wrestler in the welterweight division, and I feel like now we take on the best welterweight in the lightweight division. We'll see if we can climb that mountain. You know, so it'll be cool if we can, you know, hit the trifecta.
Two more quick things. How do you feel about Joanna going back down to 115? And by the way, one of my favorite subtle things in the game is how she always refers to you as Mikey Brown. I like that. How do you feel about her going down to 115 to fight Michelle Watterson?
You know, I like her better at 25 just for health reasons.
Yeah.
You know, because I know she kills herself to make 15. I know she can do it. She's got a really strong mind and can make any weight that she wants to make. But is it her optimal weight? You know, I'm not certain. I think 25, she's probably the most healthy. It's probably better for her body, long-term health, things like this. But I do believe in her, and I think that she's, you know, a superb, excellent, great fighter. And I like the matchup, and I'm confident in her. You know, I think that she'll still become champion again at 115, although I think 125 is best for her health.
Yeah. I was a little surprised to hear that as well, but it's a great matchup. I'm looking forward to it. That's scheduled for October 12th. How many times have you seen the Masvidal knockout? How many times you watched it?
A lot. I don't know. 100?
Do you learn something new every time you watch it, or are you just watching it just to revel in it?
No, I'm not even. You know, you're flicking through social media and it's 5 seconds, so it's everywhere. You can't help it. You know,
it's unbelievable.
It's all over the place.
The celebration afterwards. How does he do it? I don't know how he does it. Do you predict his next fight is for the belt?
I'm not certain. I have no idea what direction they're going to go in. You know,
Yeah.
I thought Colby was going to get it. You know, I thought Colby was the man. I thought Colby was 100%, and then they kind of pulled it from him. You know,
Right.
Now Colby's got Robbie. You know, I never know what they're going to do, and sometimes it's just what they need next. Oh, hey, we need to fill a spot right here.
Right.
We need these guys to fight. They'll throw a bunch of money at them, and that's the new fight, whether it's a title or not. You know, so who knows where they're going with that stuff? I'm not certain.
All right. Well, for now, enjoy the victories. Enjoy the big week in Las Vegas. I know Thiago Santos is sort of like an honorary member or sort of a half member of ATT. I thought he fought valiantly. I thought that was a great performance out of him. And you know, I think there are some people who actually believe he won that fight 3-2, right? So it was a great night for you guys. And good luck to Kayla and the team on Thursday as well. Appreciate you doing this, Mike. Always great to pick your brain.
Thanks so much. Awesome. Great to see you.
All right, there he is, Mike Brown, living on top of the world these days. What a great weekend for ATT. Look at that roster. But that's just like a handful of the names that he's got. Kayla Harrison, of course, returning on Thursday at PFL, the 2-time Olympic gold medalist. Left the cage back in May on Long Island, crying after her last fight. She won the fight, and she was bawling. She was so disappointed that she went the distance. I'm curious to see how she rebounds on Thursday. Matter of moments, we're going to be joined by Michael Chiesa, who is now 2-0 since moving up to 170. You know, it's amazing. A year ago, this past weekend, he fought International Fight Week. Anthony Pettis fought with a broken foot. And I remember at the morning weigh-ins, he stepped on the scale and he told all of us, as he missed weight for the first time, I will never step on the scale as a lightweight again. Since then, moved up to 170, wins over Carlos Condit, and on Saturday night, a win over the veteran Diego Sanchez. Now let us say hello to Michael Chiesa, who joins us via the magic of Skype. Michael, how are you? Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, sir. How are you?
Ah, yes. Look at that hat. I like it very much. You're looking great, Mike. Look at that smile. A year ago, I remember exactly a year ago this show, you talked to us from the airport in Vegas as you were leaving. You were kind enough to join us. Not a lot of people want to talk after a loss, and you were so bummed about the foot, about missing weight, about the loss. Do you remember that? Look at you now a year later.
Yeah, I remember it vividly, man. That was I've been kind of reflecting on that a lot since I've been home. It's just crazy how much changes you can go through in a year. And yeah, last year was a toughie, man. But I'm really happy to be where I'm at right now.
And what a performance from you! You landed a career high 5 takedowns in that fight against Thiago. Was that part of the game plan? Did you think you would have to wrestle so much?
Yeah, I did. I didn't think he'd really initiate the takedown so early, but he just kind of came out, got in on my legs right away. And, you know, that's fine. Grappling's always going to be my first line of attack. That's plan A. And, you know, the fight kind of went the way I thought it would. There was scrambles, you know, but he didn't really have a lot of opportunities. I was kind of ready for him to like have these bursts where I'd be like, oh, shoot, you know what I mean? Like dodging bullets, you know what I mean? But, dude, he's super tough. He still showed he's resilient, and you know, it was a good win for me. I got a lot of respect for the guy. It was a really weird fight week, just dealing with
Yes.
this entity, Diego Sanchez.
Yes.
And but the whole coaching thing, him with the new coach and the videos and all the hoopla, like I would rather be fighting somebody who's being cornered by Coach of the Year, Mike Brown, than I would be fighting a guy who's got that guy in his corner, because it's like, if I lose, I'm going to be on this guy's resume, and he really shouldn't even be coaching MMA. So I put a little bit of pressure on myself there for sure.
Oh, really? Why do you say that he shouldn't be coaching MMA?
I just think, well, for one, Diego Sanchez is such a vet. He doesn't really need to be coached. The guy knows how to fight. You know what I mean? That's just a fact. But the guy not having any MMA experience, and your first fight as a cornerman and as a coach, you're going head to head with me. You're going head to head with my coaching staff, which is very seasoned. You know what I mean? And I just don't think that. I think that if you're going to be a coach, you got to work your way up. There's a right way to it. You have to have a certain type of pedigree that applies to martial arts. You know what I mean? And I know the movement training and stuff, a lot of people are utilizing it, but you know, movement techniques and this Tai Chi shit or whatever it is, it's not going to work in a fight. You know what I mean? It's just good for your body. So I could see where guys are doing it, but that guy just really should be coaching MMA, period. I heard the guy yelling, "Crack the coconut" at Diego during the fight. And I'm like, dude, whatever the fuck. I know like some coaches like Mark Henry and those guys have certain, you know, codes they use, but crack the coconut, I'm like, what is he saying? What is going on right now? It's just weird.
Okay, so let's take a step back and continue on this conversation. At the media day, you guys have the face-off, and you know it's kind of typical Diego Sanchez, and I could see you sort of perk up like he was coming right at you. What is going through your mind as you're looking at him with that demeanor?
I was ready for that intensity.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I've followed Diego Sanchez closely through his career, as we all have. He's just like, when Diego Sanchez is scheduled to fight, you watch, you tune in. When Diego Sanchez does an interview, you tune in. It's a guy you pay a lot of attention to if you're a fan of the sport. And it's something that when I would watch video and I started applying myself, you know, in my head, like I'm fighting this guy, I would watch his fights, and I would watch like before they would announce his, you know, as Bruce Buffer's announcing him, and Diego does that. He clenches his teeth and gets that look in his eyes. I really paid attention to that. You know what I mean? Because I know it wouldn't shake me. I'm pretty, you know, I'm a mentally stable fighter. So if a guy mean mugs me or something, that's not going to shake me. But I really wanted to be ready for that intensity. So I remember at media day, I was expecting him to like take center stage with me fast. So I remember when they announced us to come face off, I like bolted to the middle, and he did like his slow strut. And I was like, oh, I didn't expect that. I was expecting him to kind of meet me in the middle there. But yeah, he's an intense guy, man. That's for sure. I mean, he said some crazy stuff. He was doing some crazy stuff. It was definitely a weird fight week. Diego Sanchez can bring the weird to your fight week if you're competing against him. That's for sure.
Did you happen to catch my pre-fight interview with him?
I did. I definitely did.
And so you're about to fight a guy, and I mean, that was an 18-minute interview. I think I asked 4 or 5 questions tops. What are you thinking when you're watching this? You're the guy fighting him. You're the guy fighting this guy. What are you thinking about?
You know, with all due respect, to me, I just didn't think his head was in the right place to be competing against me. Just a lot of like, you know, I'm hearing about, you know, a divorce and the being a parent stuff, and I feel for him. I'm not saying, and this isn't like a derogatory thing at all. I'm just like, he's just kind of venting is what it seemed like to me. And to me, you know, my headspace is clear when I go into a fight. You know, if I had a lot of things like that on my plate, you know, I probably wouldn't want to be competing. I would probably want to get some things sorted out. So just to me, it seemed like he was kind of projecting, and you know, he's still mentally tough. That's a fact. You know what I mean? He's one of the most mentally tough fighters in the UFC. But I just didn't think the headspace was where it needed to be competing against a guy like myself. You know what I mean? I've got like black hole tunnel vision focus. You know what I mean? When it comes to this fighting stuff. And I don't let outside things kind of creep their way in, especially if I'm doing media day. Those are kind of things I'd rather keep close to my chest. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it was very interesting to listen to that interview, man. And I was just like, I was dumbfounded. I couldn't believe some of the things I was hearing. It was definitely one of the most interesting interviews I've ever heard.
At any point in that fight, did you feel in danger? Did you feel like he was hurting you, rocking you at any point?
No, but I don't know. I don't think anybody heard this.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure it was the second round. I'll tell you about a dangerous position I was in this fight.
Okay.
We were in the switch position, which is kind of like I'm kind of trying to sit the corner and get to his back. And Diego is going for this move called a butt drag. And it's kind of like a wrestling move when you kind of reach around the guy and you kind of grab onto their butt cheek. And I could feel he was butt dragging me, and you know, that's whatever. But all of a sudden, I don't know if he meant to intentionally do it, but his fingers touched my butthole, and and I yelled at him, I go, "Get your fingers out of my ass, motherfucker!" I don't think anybody heard it though. Pardon my language. I'm sorry, but that's exactly what I said in the fight. And I thought I yelled it pretty loud, but I don't think anybody picked up on it. But I was like, dude, get your fingers out of my ass.
Wait, now is this over your tights or in the tights?
It was over.
Okay.
He didn't get his hand on my shorts.
Okay.
But it's not like the butt drag is like a legit technique. I mean, it's like when it comes down to like whether you're going to give up a takedown or a bad position, yeah, I'll butt drag a guy and grab his butt cheek, whatever. But in wrestling, when you get your fingers in, you know, the brown star, we call that oil checking. So he was checking my oil, and so I yelled at him to get his fingers out of my ass. I yelled it. I was for sure when the fight got over. I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to go on Twitter and it's going to be everywhere. But I don't think anybody heard it. So
wow,
I'm waiting to get video of the fight so I can go back and find that moment. But I remember specifically yelling it to him. And I'm pretty sure it was at like the end of the second round.
Has that ever happened to you?
I mean, in wrestling, I mean, it's like, you know, I've had my oil checked, you know what I mean? But it just, to me, this one felt like he knew his hand was in position. And I don't want to say he tried to do it on purpose. I don't know if he did or not. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. It's like, screw it. You know what I mean? Screw this guy. I'm going to freaking get him off me. But I just remember like, oh, he's butt dragging me. I can feel it. You know what I mean? And, oh, hey, get your fingers out of my ass. Oh, hey. I don't get down like that.
All right, so the win is all well and good. That's all well and good. But we have to address something right here and now, because I was impressed with the victory. I was impressed how you handled yourself. But then I go online and I see a photo. Do we have this photo, Corporate Jake? I see a photo.
Oh, I'm scared.
I see this photo. What in the world? I mean, what? I've never been so jealous of someone in my life. That is Michael Chiesa with the great Halle Berry, and you gave her your gloves? Tell me the story here. What is going on?
So when I first got to Vegas from Media Day in LA, I went straight from LA to Vegas. And before my first strength conditioning workout with Bo Sandoval, he goes, "Hey, if you got a free minute today, you want to talk to Halle Berry about her movie coming up?" I'm like, yeah, duh. Like, yeah, was that even a question? So yeah, so we go meet Halle Berry. It's like me, Julian Marquez, Jessica I, Yana, and Brad Tavares. And so she's just kind of like asking us questions, getting some insight into like a fighter's mentality and those types of things. And she's just a super nice, genuine lady. And I love the fact that this movie she's doing, it's going to have a lot of jujitsu stuff in it. Like her character is going to be, like a grappling based fighter, trains jujitsu. So I thought that was super cool because usually it's all about striking with these movies, this and that. And so the fight gets over and I see her in the back. And so I go up, I'm like, hey, I'm glad you're here, and she's like, oh my God, I enjoyed watching your fight. Like, my character's a grappler. I enjoyed watching your techniques. Like, this was such an interesting thing to watch. And it was just flattering coming from her. I mean, granted, it's like, it's just cool coming from a lady like Halle Berry. And she's super genuine. She's super nice. And so I was like, dude, I like walked away, went in my bag and was like, thank you. Like, take these gloves. Like,
Wow.
That was like my gift to you type of thing. You know what I mean? And, yeah, it's just a special moment. You know what I mean? It was Halle Berry, dude.
Yeah,
She's
legend.
She's Catwoman. You know what I mean?
Incredible.
So it was cool to get like that kind of recognition from her, and for her to like give me high praise for my fight. It was really awesome, man. And I love the fact that she's got this passion for jiu-jitsu now. I think that is awesome. I love the art, and I love it when people that aren't combat sport athletes discover the art and start to train it and put it into their lives. You know what I mean? It's a very powerful thing. So, it's just awesome that she recognizes the techniques and shows appreciation for it. And so that was my way of showing my appreciation for her as well.
So now, will you be in the movie?
I'm hoping so.
Let's
what I mean?
go.
I don't have acting. I don't have acting skills. You know what I mean? But I would love to be a part of it. It was mentioned. You know what I mean? But we'll see. You know
Come
what I mean?
on.
We'll
Where's
see what
Danny
happens.
Rube at? Get Danny Rube on the phone. Close the deal.
Danny Rube, get on the horn, man.
Come on. That would be amazing.
It would be awesome, though. I could check that off my bucket list. You know what I mean? I could. Being in a movie would be freaking awesome, man. So I'm hoping something comes to fruition. Maybe me and Brian Ortega could be like grappling in the background or something. You know what I mean? Because I could kill two birds with one stone. I would love to grapple with Brian Ortega because he's a stud. And two, it would be cool to be in a movie. So maybe we can be like some background noise or something.
Oh, that would be great. Danny Rube, get on the horn. When do you want to return?
Definitely before the end of the year. You know what I mean? I'm not saying my time frame is like, oh, I'm not fighting till the end of the year, but I just definitely want to like, I'm home. I've been gone for like 5 weeks. Really looking to just enjoy some time with my dogs and my family and stuff. But I definitely want to get one more in before the year's up. If, my health holds up, maybe even two, you know what I mean? And the good thing too, Ariel, is now that I'm at this weight class, I can jump on short notice opportunities because I think that as I'm starting to learn more about the sport and become a veteran, that's when you get the best opportunities to get to championship fights. Is you have to jump on these short notice, kind of high risk opportunities when they present themselves. So that's what I love about being at 170 is if something pops up that's a high ranked guy and they need somebody like, hey, I'm here, I can make that weight. I'm going to stay in the gym, and stay really active. So I feel pretty healthy. I came out of there unscathed, so we'll see what happens.
I still can't believe you ever made 155. Like, just seeing how cut you are at 170 and how good you look at 170, I can't even fathom what it took to get you down there to 155. Is there anyone that comes to mind that really interests you right now?
I mean, originally we were going to get the Neil Magny fight, and he went a different direction. And I'm kind of glad that I didn't get that fight when we thought we would, because everything that happened with him and his sanctioning with USADA. That fight would be cool. I just want to get in the rankings. That's the biggest thing. So even if when this weekend's come to an end and I'm not in the rankings now, that's fine. I just want my next opponent to be against a ranked guy. And I always have a name in mind, but this fight, I really gave Diego the respect he deserves. And I know that where these guys that he has beaten recently, where they came up short was they just looked too far ahead of him, or they looked past him. And I've always been good about being able to fight a guy while having another guy in the back of my mind, but I just didn't want to do that this fight. I wanted to give him 100% of my focus, because one little lapse in focus could make all the difference in winning and losing a fight against a guy like Diego. The only name that came to mind was my friend Jess Roskelley, who passed away a few months ago. He was a hero of mine. He was a good friend. And I hadn't really said anything on social media about it. I just kind of manifested it. I'm big about visualization and manifesting things, and that was something I thought about all camp. Is like I want to wait to pay my respects to Jess and his family by winning my fight and being able to pay my condolences, let the world hear it. You know what I mean? So that's the only name I had in mind, Jess Rossberg.
What happened to him?
He was an alpine climber, and he died in a climbing accident
Oh.
in Alberta, Canada. Yeah, and he was. We're talking. This guy was larger than life, man. He back in 2003, I think he summited Mount Everest when he was 19 years old. We're talking. This guy's phenomenal. He's challenged Mother Nature time and time again. We would always have these conversations, like, you know, he would tell me I'm crazy for fighting and stuff, and I'd be like, dude, I get to fight a guy that weighs the same as me, has the same skill set. Like, you fight Mother Nature on a regular, and Mother Nature is undefeated. You know what I mean? And somehow you go out there and challenge her time and time again. And you know, I looked up to him very, very, very much. It was really hard for our community. Spokane's a small city, and we rally behind our people. And you know, when we lost Jess, it really shook the city. And that's the only thing I had in mind. This fight was like, I want to pay my respects to my friend and my hero, Jess Ross Kelly.
I'm very sorry to hear about that. I'm really sorry for your loss, and I think you did just that, Mike. You represented very well. Congratulations on the win, my man. Enjoy the victory. Well done, 2-0. Looking forward to the next one, and thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you, Ariel. Thank you, Daniel Rubenstein, best manager in the business. I love you, Mom. Diamond Cups. Thanks for protecting my nuts, and I love you guys. Go Knicks.
All right. Yes, indeed. Go Knicks. There he is, Michael Chiesa. A huge win for him on Saturday over Diego Sanchez. You're looking at some of the notables there on his resume. Landed a career-high 5 takedowns against the Nightmare, and he's now on a 2-fight winning streak at welterweight. Speaking of welterweight, let us not waste any time. Let's say hello now to the interim welterweight champion of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. The one and only Colby Covington is joining us. This is great. Colby, how are you?
I'm doing great, Ariel. I just want to start off by saying shalom and happy birthday.
Oh.
I brought you a cupcake. Usually I'm smashing cupcakes in the UFC octagon, but today I'm here to give a cupcake to the greatest journalist of all time, the journalist of the year, Ariel Helwani.
Wow, what a mensch you are, Colby. See, I think you get sometimes a bad rap. You're really a great guy. Thank you for doing that. That means a lot to me. I really appreciate that. So it's great to talk to you, and it's a good time to talk to you. There's a lot to talk to you about. Before we get to the fight on August 3rd, I do have to ask about this weekend. What was your reaction when you saw your friend Jorge Masvidal knock out Ben Askren in 5 seconds?
I predicted it. You know, if you go to my interview with this guy, Niall McGrath, over in England, I said he was going to pull out a big knockout with the knee, and that's exactly what he did. So I'm super happy for him. He's back on a little win streak, 2 wins in a row, 2-2 in his last 4. I couldn't be happier for him. Now we're at the top of the mountain. We're doing things that we've been talking about for the last 8 years. I've been living and training with that guy for the last 8 years in the American Top Team, and we had dreams and visions of making it to the top of the mountain together. And now here we are, the top of the mountain. So very thankful for, having him by my side, but, now it's business time.
Okay, and obviously you have this issue, if you will, with Ben. So did it make it even better, the fact that he did it against Askren?
Oh, yeah, it made it so much sweeter, For a guy with Asperger's that's always talking about my IQ level, let's check his IQ level. We should check Askren's IQ level. His brain's got to be real scrambled today.
Yeah, that was just absolutely shocking. And I know you posted the picture of you and Jorge from back in the day. As I was talking to Mike Brown about this, around 30 or so minutes ago, we're approaching a situation here, Colby, because Jorge thinks he's next. I'm assuming you think you get by Robbie Lawler. You're next. What's going to happen? How are we going to figure this out?
Well, I'm defending my title against Ruthless Robbie Lawler August 3rd, and whoever thinks they're next, I can give a title shot to anybody. So if Marty wants to keep faking injuries and running around, not ready to defend the belt, then, Jorge can come get a title shot. It doesn't matter who's next. I'm the people's champ. I'm America's champ. So I'm going to do what the people want, and whoever they think is next, that's going to be next. There's no friends in this business. I got in this to be the best in the world, and I know I'm the best in the world right now. So whoever it is, I'm going to knock them all off, Ariel, one by one. Hey, but fun fact, CM Punk has spent more time in the UFC octagon and has 2 less KO losses than Askren. So I think Askren needs to go back to Asia with all the other inferior products.
Wouldn't that be a really awkward situation for you? Like, wouldn't that be something that you would dread, to have to fight a good friend and former roommate?
Yeah, we would dread it, but let's be honest, Ariel. We've been beating each other up and fighting each other for free the last 8 years in American Top Team. So to go out there and get a 7-figure paycheck for both of us and set ourselves up for the rest of our lives, it wouldn't be a big deal. We're fighters at heart. That's what we do, and that's what we love to do. So fighters fight, man. There's only one man in this business, and that's what we're in this to do, is to be the one man, to be at the top of the mountain, to have this. So whoever wants to come get this, come get it, boy. I take on all comers.
And what would you do as far as training is concerned? Because you both actually train out of Coconut Creek.
Yeah, it won't be an issue. We'll come in on separate times. Dan Lambert will handle it accordingly. He'll make sure that we're, have our training partners and our training coaches on separate times in the gym, and we'll space it out so we don't have to be and see each other before the fight.
Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, this is what I really want to talk to you about. It's late Monday around, what was it, almost 2 weeks ago? Yeah, 2 weeks ago, and word comes out that you're fighting Robbie Lawler on August 3rd. And for a minute there, I'm thinking, like, what happened here? What about the unification bout? What about Usman? How in the world did they get you to fight on August 3rd against Robbie Lawler? What happened here?
Yeah, pretty much, Snoozman, Marty Fake Newsman's out there, and he doesn't want to fight. So, it only makes sense that I give a title shot to the most deserving guy in the division, a guy that's coming off a first-round knockout of Ben Askren, ruthless Robbie Lawler, the biggest name in the division, Ariel. If you go ask anybody on the street right now about any welterweight, who's a bigger name, Robbie Lawler or Cameron Usman? Who are you going to say, Ariel?
Yeah, Lawler's been around the block. Yeah, I mean, everyone knows who he is.
Yeah, he's a legend, so he deserves a title shot. And, I'm excited to give him a title shot because, he was so silver spoon-fed at American Top Team. I earned everything the hard way. That guy had everything at American Top Team. I mean, all the coaches, all the training partners. And then all of a sudden he turned his back and left because of picture. Oh, wait. Oops. Did I say that out loud, Ariel? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to spoil the news of why he left American Top Team, but he took his ball from the yard and left because of a picture.
What picture?
A picture they put up of Tyron Woodley getting his hand raised of when he beat Robbie Lawler.
That's why he left the team.
That's why he left the team, Ariel. Breaking news. Here only on Ariel Helwani's show.
So where was this picture posted? On social media?
No, it was put up in the gym.
Oh, so he went to the gym, saw it, and said, "I'm out."
Yep. That's exactly what happened. He got up in his feelings, started crying, and turned his back on all the people that helped him from the start.
Wow. So is there heat there between you and him?
Absolutely, there's heat, man. As team captain, I have to handle this accordingly now.
Are you the actual team captain?
I'm the actual team captain, Ariel. I've done the most for this team, and how dare he besmirch Dan Lambert, American Top Team? So now I have to handle him accordingly.
Did someone, like, was there like a vote for you to become team captain, or like how did you get that role?
Just kind of who was doing the most for the gym. I brought this gym to the White House. I'm the first UFC champion and fighter from American Top Team to bring this belt and to the White House. So, it was kind of voted. I'm the team captain. I do a lot for this team, man. I'm always giving them shout outs, always helping everybody, man. I'm not a selfish player like Robbie was when he was here. He was silver spoon fed. He only came here for himself. He was, he came here broken. We built him back up to the top, and then he turned his back on us. I don't do that. I help everybody. It doesn't matter if you're an amateur, if you're a professional, but I'm a true team player, and that's why I'm the team captain of American Top Team.
Did you guys ever spar when he was at the gym?
Yeah, absolutely. Many times. When he was getting ready for Johnny Hendricks, he needed a southpaw wrestler, and that's exactly what I am. So for both the Johnny Hendricks fights, I helped him and gave him hundreds of rounds of sparring.
And how'd those go?
Come on, Ariel. I don't kiss and tell.
I had to ask. I thought maybe you'd pull what was it? A Michael Bisping who once said that he's the Strikeforce champion after sparring with Luke Rockhold.
Nah, I'm not like that one-eyed twerp from across the pond.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, and so all right, so I didn't know there was that kind of heat. I mean, I knew he left the team, but I didn't know you felt this way about him. So you feel like he betrayed you guys, and you're gonna make him pay for it.
Absolutely, man. I will make him pay for it. He'll be in a pool of his own blood. Just like, when I had to defend my boy Georgie when he lost to Damian Maia, I had to go out there and get one back for the team and leave him in a pool of blood. It's going to be the same way for Robbie Lawler come August 3rd. He betrayed me, man. I gave him everything, trained with him every single day, was always on his time schedule. He had all the coaches, all the money he could ever need in the whole entire world from Dan Lambert and American Top Team. And he betrayed us because of a picture, man.
Wow. And how do you know that for a fact? Did he tell someone he was bothered by that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he told Dan Lambert.
Okay. Is there a part of you, though, Colby? I know you seem to be fired up, and I 100% believe you, but is there a part of you that's disappointed it's not against Usman next? Because last time we spoke, it was right after the Usman fight. Like, it just seemed like everything was perfectly aligned for that. But you're shaking your head. You're not disappointed.
Not at all, man. I'm the real champ. All the people, they know who's the real champ. They know who's out there faking injuries. It's not a gimmick. It's not a moniker. I'm here to make welterweight great again, Ariel, and that's what I'm doing. I'm taking the most worthy contender next in line to defend my belt. So I'm not out here faking injuries, making these fake narratives. I'm here to fight, man. You've seen I've been on the shelf the last year because no one wants to fight me. We had Tyron Woodley going under the knife, because he was scared of me. Now we got the same thing with Marty Fake Newsman. So it doesn't matter who I defend my belt against. Robbie Lawler is the biggest name, and I'm excited to go out there and defend my belt for the people. That's why I'm the people's champion.
But are you getting paid like a champion? Okay.
Damn right I am, Errol. I wouldn't take anything less.
All right.
I'm deserving, man.
All right, fair enough. Have they said to you, if all goes well on August 3rd, your next fight is Usman?
Yeah, for sure. They've said that, it's either going to be Usman or another big fight I defend my belt against. But, I'm getting paid championship money, so it doesn't matter if I'm fighting Usman, if I'm fighting my best friend, if I'm fighting Robbie Lawler, but I'm defending this title. And, I'm going to keep breaking history books. I'm already in the history books for being the first and only UFC champion to go to the White House. Unlike Ben Askren, now he's a part of the history books for being the fastest knocked out dude in UFC history.
Speaking of which, I know you said that you wanted Donald Trump Jr. to come to your fight. You're fighting close to New York. It's not that far. It's just across the bridge there. Are you going to have him at your fight on August 3rd in Newark?
You know it, man. When I was out there in Fleet Week in New York, hanging out with the Marines and the Navy for a week, I was able to stop by Trump Tower for the day and hang out with Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump, and they both gave me their word they will be front row at my next fight. So that's why I was so excited to take this fight, and defend my title, because promises made, promises kept, Ariel. I promised them that I was going to be fighting soon. And, what a better way to go over to New Jersey, which is only about 30 minutes away from Manhattan, so they can be first front row for the first family.
Wow, that's amazing. Speaking of Fleet Week, I know we have some stuff coming out as far as your involvement there, but I understand you did some really cool stuff with the Marines and I think some members of the Navy as well. What did you do a couple of weeks ago in New York?
Oh man, what a special time, man! Definitely the highlight of my whole entire life. Even over almost going to the White House. Being able to go see what it's like day in and day out. Those guys are putting their lives on the line 24/7, man. It's not this. We fight 3 times a year. They're fighting 24/7, 365 a year. So I got to stay on the USS New York ship for 2 nights. Unbelievable time, man. Seeing how the Navy functions day in and day out, how the Marines are living when they're getting transported to battle. And man, it was just incredible, man. Just seeing what they do for our country, how much they sacrifice, and they don't get enough credit, man. Athletes don't give them enough credit for what they do and what they put on the line for our freedom. So, thank you to every single branch in the military, the Army, the Navy, the Marines, the Coast Guard, and the Air Force, man. Much love to all you guys, man. I fight for you guys, and I'm going to be fighting for you August 3rd when I beat up Robbie Lawler in the Prudential Center. Live only on ESPN.
That's right. Yes, big ESPN. I was told from a member of the Marines that you reach out to them. You say, I want to do as much as possible. I don't want to be paid for this. I don't want cameras there. I just want to be with these men and women. Why does it mean so much to you? Like, why do you go out of your way to do this?
Well, first off, I come from a military family. My grandfather flew in the Air Force. He flew in the Korean War and the Vietnam War. So, the military runs through my blood deep. So, it's always been my honor and pleasure. And that once I got this platform, that I would give it to a good reason and a good purpose. And there's no greater reason than our military and our troops that keep us free. So, I didn't want to even bring cameras that week, to be honest, Ariel. It was kind of more for them to give them a spotlight. It wasn't about me getting the spotlight. I paid thousands of dollars out of my pocket to go visit them and give my time to them. But it was all about just being on their time. They were asking me what I want to do all week. I said, whatever your guys' schedule is, I want to be on it from the minute you guys start to the minute you guys finish. So, that's why I did it, for the real reasons. I'm not doing it for publicity and for other reasons. I'm doing it to give them a spotlight, to give them a platform, because not enough athletes give them enough thanks for what they do and how much they sacrifice to protect our freedoms here in America.
That's amazing. And yeah, I think more of that is to come. So definitely stay tuned for that. So obviously things are going. I thought, I have to be honest, Colby, I thought that you were going to be upset, that you were going to say that you were getting screwed here. I felt like I was upset on your behalf. I really want to see, we had the Woodley fight that didn't come to fruition, and then it seemed like, all right, we didn't miss a beat, and we had the Usman fight, that there was a great backstory there, and then that didn't come to fruition. And so I felt like something was going wrong here, but you appeared to be fine with everything, so I guess I should be fine with it too.
Yeah, absolutely, Ariel. We know who's the real man in this division, who's the real king. Tyron Woodley tucked his tail in between his legs, went running for the foothills like the coward he is. And then now we got Usman, who's the Tyron Woodley 2.0, doing the same thing. He can attack me in Palm's buffet lines, put innocent people's lives in danger, but he can't fight me in the octagon because he's too scared. So I think that people see that now, and they know who the real king is. I got the real belt. Anybody who wants to come get it, make a claim to being the best welterweight in the world, is going to have to come through me.
Any concerns about ring rust come August 3rd? It will be, like 14 months since your last fight?
Absolutely not, Ariel. We've been working on that championship cardio every single day in the bedroom since that last fight. We've been an American Top Team. I put in some new layers to my game, man. You haven't even seen the best Colby Chaos Covington yet. So there is no ring rust. That's a mental thing, and I'm not a mentally weak person. So you're going to see the best version of me come August 3rd. I promise you that, Ariel.
Who will be in your corner on August 3rd?
I'm going to have a contingent of a lot of guys from American Top Team. We'll have Conan Silveira. I'm going to have one of my buddies, Stephen Hodgkin. He's in the U.S. Airborne Unit with the Army. He's an Army Ranger. And then I'll have Gregory Choplin, world champion Muay Thai fighter. And then Steve Mocco, national champ wrestler. So
okay.
I got a great corner.
Speaking of Conan, I saw him there obviously on Saturday cornering Amanda Nunez. How are things between you and Amanda? She's killing it these days. I knew you had a bit of friction. Are you guys cool now?
Yeah, we're cool now, man. She understands what I'm doing. It's just business. I understand what she's doing. She's a great fighter, greatest women's fighter of all time. So, I'm a team player, American Top Team all the way. I'm very happy and excited for her, and great things to come for her.
And how about things between you and Dana White? Where do they stand?
They've never been better. Me and Dana White are best friends again. He knows what I bring to the table. He knows the money I draw, and he knows I back up my word, man. I'm a man of my word, and, I don't just talk the talk, Ariel. I walk the walk. So Dana knows where I'm coming from, and he knows what I'm bringing August 3rd.
Wow, never been better. Direct quote. Look at you. Things are on the up and up for Colby Covington. Well done. Colby, I'm going to Monday Night Raw tonight. I'm psyched.
Really?
Yeah.
No way.
After this, yeah, a little birthday present. What do you think? I haven't been watching, though. I have no idea what to look out for.
If you see my boy Bobby Lashley, make sure to tell him hi for me.
I will. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. August 3rd, Newark, New Jersey. I shall be there. Big fight at 170. Robbie Lawler versus Colby Covington. Things really heating up at 170 these days. And will we see a collision course between the longtime friends and roommates? Colby giving me a little dance there. With those look good. What flavor is that? Like multicolored?
Yeah, we got a little strawberry and blueberry. So
this is nice, Colby.
Happy birthday, Ariel, the greatest journalist of all time, man. I hope you have the best birthday ever and enjoy Monday Night Raw.
Thanks, buddy. And I like that shirt, by the way. Where can we get that? ProWrestlingTees.com?
Yeah, make sure you go to ProWrestlingTees.com/ColbyCovMMA. Get yourself a Great American Winning Machine shirt. Get yourself a Colby Chaos shirt, a Nerd Bash shirt. It'll exponentially increase your chances to get laid this summer, everybody. So
Okay.
make sure you get it done, boys.
All right. Thank you, Colby. All the best to you. We'll see you August 3rd. There he is, Colby Covington, the interim champion at 170. He claims to be the champion at 170. We'll see how the whole situation plays out. You see some of his stats right over there. And how about Corporate Jake throwing in the former there? How dare you, Corporate Jake, throw in the former?
Facts.
Former. Wow. Colby Covington will slap that smile off your face putting in the former. But yes, it is August 3rd on ESPN, and it's an afternoon affair. It's a matinee. It's like a 3:30 main event. So be on the lookout for that on August 3rd. All right. Matter of seconds, we're going to be joined by one of the top contenders, perhaps even the top contender at 205. And obviously, the 205-pound division very much in focus after Saturday night. Jon Jones defeating Thiago Santos via split decision. Very close fight. Like I said at the top, I thought Jon won it ever so slightly. I thought he won the second round, which to me was the hardest round to score. I thought Thiago Santos won the first, the fifth. I thought Jon Jones won the third and the fourth. Came down to the second, and I gave it to Jon. I don't hate you if you gave it to Thiago. I think it's really close. In fact, I haven't had a chance to watch it again. I'd love to watch it again to get a different perspective on television, but that's how I felt on the night. And so now I'm wondering what one of the top contenders at 205 thinks about all that. And so let's say hello to one Dominick Reyes, who's kind enough to join us right now. Dominick, how are you?
I'm great, Ariel. Happy birthday, man.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, Dominick. Did you watch the fight on Saturday between Jon Jones and Thiago Santos? And if so, who do you think won?
I did. I was on the 50-yard line. I gave 1 and 2 to Thiago and 5 to Thiago.
Oh.
But you got to beat the champ, you know. It was a really close fight. But I gave it to Thiago.
Wow. So if it's up to you, you say that Thiago Santos is the new champ.
If I was a judge, yeah. But I'd rather fight Jon anyway.
All right. Well, what did you think of Jon's performance overall? Because he did hear some boos.
I thought it was careful. It was a careful performance by Jon. He was aware of Thiago's strength, which is his power in his hands, and he shied away from the exchanges. And I mean, it was a winning performance. He won. It wasn't the most exciting, but he won.
You think he played it safe?
I think he did. I think he played it safe just a little bit.
So you think the boos were warranted?
I don't think the boos are ever warranted.
Okay.
I mean, we're out there fighting, you know, for our lives, essentially. We're putting it on the line. Our long-term health is, you know, it's a real concern of ours. And getting punched around by 205ers regularly isn't that great for your health, but it is what it is. He won. He got the win. And I'd like to be the next guy to fight him.
I will ask you about that in a second. I just wanted to get your take on his chin, because I thought, you know, one of the big questions about Jon's career that we haven't really seen yet answered is what kind of a chin does he have, you know? And in this fight, I thought he took some big shots and just stood there. Didn't even get rocked. Were you impressed with his chin?
Oh yeah, he took a few solid shots. I mean, I heard him from my seat, felt it in my chest. The coconut sound. Took a couple of those, but he didn't even flinch. But that's Jon. I mean, look at his legs. His legs were battered. And he was acting like he was perfectly fine. He's a champion, man. He has very, very strong will. That's something I took away from that fight. Is Jon has a very strong will, and he's gonna do what it takes to win the fight.
So after the fight, he was engaging with fans on social media and throughout that he's already looking forward to returning in December, and was kind of asking people, who do you want to see him fight? There you go. So who do you guys want to see me scrap next? Already focused on December. Then Billy Davis, young Billy Davis getting some shine, says Dominick Reyes. And then Jon Jones says, somebody ask him if he wants some smoke. And so here I am asking you, John, or excuse me, Dominic, I'm asking you right now, do you want some of that smoke?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want all that smoke, man. I don't just want the smoke, man. Let's jump in the fire. Get it.
Were you surprised that he said that?
Not really, man. I'm the next guy up. I'm 5-0. I beat 2 former title challengers back to back. I'm the next guy. I'm number 4. He beat everybody in front of me, and yeah, man, I'm next. I'm ready to go.
So
I think it's a fun matchup, man.
Well, so that's the interesting thing, because if you look at the rankings, he's either defeated everyone who's around you, or there's people who, it just doesn't really make sense. Johnny Walker gets a lot of attention, I think, because of the, the flashy knockouts. But last I checked, he's 11th or 10th. You're a lot closer to 1 than he is, but he does have the finishes as of late. So are you worried that because his finishes have been a little flashier than some of the decisions that you've had, that he's actually having more buzz surrounding him right now than you are?
I'm not worried about that, man. I mean, his competition, the guys he's fought are on another level than mine. I mean, my guys are on another level. Like I said, I fought 2 title challengers back to back. My OSP fight, they didn't call it a finish, but that was definitely a finish, and that was definitely an exciting fight.
Right.
My last fight with Vulcan, it was exciting, but I didn't get the finish. I fought through adversity. I learned a lot, and I'm ready to go, man. As far as Johnny, I mean, he's got a lot of work to do, man. I mean, we don't know what he's capable of against top level competition, and yeah, I mean, rankings are here for a reason.
Okay, so have there been any talks about you potentially being next for John Jones?
Well, this is 2 days after the fight, so we're talking about it right now.
Yes. No, I mean, like, as far as your management and the UFC brass, things like that, like the real stuff behind the scenes.
It's all moving, man. It's
Okay.
all moving right now.
Do you feel confident?
I do.
Wow.
I'm very confident.
You seem like you have a quiet confidence. I almost feel like you know something that we don't know.
That's usually the case, right? I mean, I'm an insider.
Okay, so let me ask you this, because I had heard that there was some interest before this fight of having you fight Chris Weidman. Did that ever reach your radar?
I heard it did reach my radar. But Weidman was injured at the time, so
right.
We couldn't make that happen.
Okay, and there was also some talk of Luke Rockhold as well, correct? Before his fight against Blachowicz?
Yes.
Yeah.
But apparently he didn't want the smoke or something like that.
What did you make of that fight? Were you surprised to see him get knocked out like that?
To be honest, I was not. You had trouble at middleweight with your chin and things happening. It's not going to get better going up to 205. I mean, we hit harder. I wasn't surprised, honestly, man. The MMA gods spoke on that one.
Okay. What do you mean by that, the MMA gods? Like, you feel like karma got him?
Yeah, man. You can't try to move up a division talking all kinds of trash about everybody on the division.
Right.
A lot of disrespect all the way around. And then expect things to go your way all the time. I mean, that's not how it works. It worked for some guys, but the MMA gods spoke this time, and you can get away with it.
Right. And so here you are at 11-0, like you said, undefeated in the UFC, undefeated in your career. Is there any concern about August 17th? Because, like, I think you are the guy, but then I think about Daniel Cormier and them trying to make that fight. Is there any concern that if he wins that fight on August 17th, that he trumps you?
Yeah, I mean, that's always a concern. I mean, that trilogy fight's going to make a lot of money when
Right.
they do it. So that is a concern of mine, but whatever happens, I got to go out there and fight and win fights anyway. Regardless of whoever my next opponent is, I'm on another level right now, man. That last fight really took me to that level up place, and I'm gonna put some work on whoever it is. I don't even care.
What do you mean by that? That the last fight took you to another level, like in the aftermath?
So
or?
Well, during the fight, I faced quite a bit of adversity. He broke my nose in the first round. So breathing became super difficult, and I had to pull through and figure out a way to win. And I looked deep within myself, and this is what I want, man. This is exactly what I want, and I'm here. I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere.
Wow. So you broke your nose in the first round, and then you still went the distance. How hard was that? Like every time you were getting punched in the face, breathing, how painful was that?
It wasn't too painful unless he hit it, or there was a point where we were against the cage and he was rubbing his head against my nose, and it felt pretty horrible. And it sounded like a bag of gravel. Like I had a gravel in my mouth, and I was like
Oh my gosh.
swishing gravel. And every time I would breathe, I felt blood going down the back of my throat and into my lungs. So
Oh,
it was tough, man.
that is horrible.
I got through it.
That's one of the worst things I've ever heard in the fight game. Wow. Did you have to have surgery afterwards?
No, man. Luckily, I didn't.
Jeez Louise.
I think it was broken in 5 places, man.
Really? And no surgery?
Yeah. Nothing.
Well done. And so how
It was
is it
like
now?
Play-Doh. It was cool. So I just kept straightening it out, and it was good.
Wow. And so is it okay now? Like, can you get punched?
Yeah, it's good now.
Wow.
Perfectly good.
You're like Wolverine. In a perfect world, would you
Bless.
like another fight? Or do you feel like you're ready for arguably the greatest of all time, the greatest light heavyweight champion of all time now?
Honestly, I'm ready for whatever's next. I'd like to fight John. I mean, that's a dream. That's what I'm here for. This is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be the best in the world, man. This is my passion. I love it. And that's the ultimate goal, to be the best in the world. And to fight John, like he's the best in the world. Like he's the GOAT, man. And I've been watching and studying and learning and at a point even idolizing John. So I think if it's John, which I hope it is, and I think it should be, then I'm ready. But if not, then I'm gonna have to put on a spectacular performance against someone and be the next guy again.
When you say that you were almost like idolizing him, what do you mean? Like, was he your favorite fighter coming up?
Yes.
Wow.
He was.
Really?
Even before I was in UFC, he was my favorite fighter.
Why?
So his creativity, the way he adapts to pretty much anything in the fight, and just his championship mindset where you're not going to tell him that he can't do something, and nothing's impossible. Nothing's impossible. And I learned that from John, watching him fight.
We've seen
you can make everything happen.
Well, we've seen fighters fight, guys that they've looked up to, and you almost like put them on a pedestal. You view them in a different light. Like I remember when Pat Barry fought Mirko Cro Cop. Is there any concern that like you have too much respect for him?
No, it's a sportsman's respect.
Okay.
At this point, he's competition now. I respect him for who he is and what he's done, but when we get in there, there ain't no respect. I'm there to take your head off, bro. It's a fight. Just like any sport that I've ever played in my life, I could have friends and great friends, and I'll play against them. But once we're playing on the field, I mean, there ain't no friends on the field. There's no friends in the ring, in the octagon. We're fighting. I'm going 100%, and that's it.
I was talking to Chael Sonnen afterwards, my colleague. He has not been all that impressed with John since he came back in the Gustafsson fight, in the Anthony Smith fight, in this fight. He thought Thiago Santos won the fight. He credits some of that to maybe him being clean these days. These are his words. Do you feel like there's something to that? Do you feel like John isn't as good as he once was?
It's hard to say, man. It's really hard to say. I see what he's saying. It's kind of reminiscent to the OSP fight, where it was in my opinion his first time being clean in a long time, and he didn't look that great. This was similar to that in my opinion.
So you do think he is clean now, but you don't think he looks as good. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any concerns if you
Listen,
fight him
yes.
about whether or not he's clean?
Nah, man. I mean, he gets tested all the time.
Right.
And I'm sure he's gonna be tested if we fight and get that if I get that matchup. And if he goes dirty again, man, like it's over. He's not gonna do that.
Yeah, and worth noting, no drama going into this fight. One of the first times in a long time that nothing popped up at the last minute, so that was certainly reassuring. It seems like he wants to return in December. How do you feel about that timeline?
Sounds great to me. Champ camp, a long champ camp. Get ready for, that real championship fight. Become champ before my 30th birthday.
Yes. What do we have to do? I feel like you need to try to get this done before August 17th. I don't know if the UFC is down with that timeline, but I feel like that needs to be your goal because everything can change if DC, gets a victory, doesn't get hurt, right? I mean, like I know they want that fight, but if you could somehow secure it beforehand, if he wants to be active, that should be the goal, in my opinion.
I agree, and then that's why I'm on the show, man. We gotta start making some noise, get going.
That's right. And finally, any concerns about Blachowicz, since that was so spectacular, about him getting the nod before you?
Oh, he's definitely not getting a nod before me.
Why not?
It's not happening. No.
I'm
not letting that happen. It's not happening.
You will personally fly to Las Vegas yourself.
Yeah. I'll do what I got to do. It's not happening, man.
All right. Okay. So Anthony Smith put it out there. I'll never forget when he was on our show in December. He said, I will fight John Jones at some point this year. It sounds like you feel the same.
Absolutely, man. I mean, we got these 85ers coming up, man, getting shots before actual contenders like myself. I've been in the division the whole time. I've been doing work, man. I've been taking people out. I started my career in the UFC with a 49-second knockout, man. People forget.
Yeah.
Because, I'm a dangerous dude, man. I'm not one to be played with. And people are overlooking me, acting like I don't exist.
Whoa.
You got Rockhold acting like I'm going to come in and get a title shot. Like, bro, you got sat down. Like, you need to relax. So, yeah, man, I'm the real contender. I've been working at this for 2 years, ready to go.
You feel like you're not getting the attention, the respect that you deserve?
A little bit, yeah, man. I do.
Interesting. All right. I'm curious to see how this plays out. You've made me into a believer. I think you're the obvious next choice, and the resume speaks for itself. So I feel like we should get this going. Do you want me to put in a call?
Yeah, man.
Or you got it covered?
Yeah, man. Call everyone, man.
Okay.
I'm calling everyone. You call everyone.
All right.
Get this going.
And last thing, when you watch John Jones, this guy, I mean, what, maybe 5-6 rounds he's lost. Maybe he lost 2 on Saturday, lost a couple to DC back in the day. The Gustafsson fight, the first one. When you watch him, do you see holes there? Do you see things that you're able to exploit?
At the end of the day, man, he's just a man. We all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. Just got to find my one opening, and I got to employ my game plan that I've been working on since I first started training MMA.
All right. Good luck to you, Dominick. Looking forward to seeing how this plays out.
Thanks
I
a lot,
appreciate
Ariel.
you coming on.
Appreciate you, man. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Dominick Reyes.
Don't get in too much trouble, man.
I know I won't. Don't worry. I'm here doing the show. Like, what could I be doing, really? Appreciate you doing this, Dominick. Good luck to you. Good luck getting the fight. There he is, Dominick Reyes stopping by. What a resume he has. And who's this? I will ignore that for now. 2.8 strike differential, third best among UFC light heavyweights, minimum 5 UFC fights. 5 wins at light heavyweight, as he just mentioned, since his UFC debut back in 2017. Tied for the most in the division in that span with, who else? Jan Blachowicz. 8 of his 11 career wins have come via first-round stoppage, 6 by KO/TKO, 2 by submission, 85.7% takedown defense, second highest among active UFC light heavyweights, minimum 5 UFC fights, and 20 takedown attempts by opponents. So there you have it. Does he get that shot? If you look at the rankings, there's no other clear-cut choice. DC would trump everyone. We know they want the DC fight. And, of course, he has to get by Stipe Miocic on August 17th. So it's going to be interesting. But if you're looking for a light heavyweight, I think it has to be Dominick Reyes. And people forget, as he pointed out, if you look at Dominick Reyes' his resume, his record, the OSP fight is listed as a unanimous decision victory. But that, in my opinion, that was as close to a last-second knockout as we're ever going to see. I mean, it really was at the final second. It could have gone either way. He did knock him out as the horn sounded in the third round. That was UFC 229, the Khabib-Conor fight. And at the time, that was getting a lot of buzz. That was, I think, right before, if memory serves me correct, the Derek Lewis win. It was right after the Derek Lewis win. So that was an insane back-to-back stretch. And then, of course, after that, we had the Tony Ferguson win over Anthony Pettis, one of the best cards of the year. So there was a lot of attention on him. He returned in March against Volkan Ozdemir and won via split decision. As you just mentioned, suffered a broken nose in the first round, so that may have derailed him a little bit. And the thought of him, drinking the blood and the bag crackling, I mean, pretty gruesome stuff. Does have a win over Jared Cannonier as well, and we know how good Jared Cannonier is doing these days. Of course, this at 205, he's now fighting at 185, but it's a pretty solid resume. And like you said, his last 2 wins have been against title contenders, so we'll see if the UFC gives him that nod. And one thing that might be helping him right now is that Jon Jones wants to be active. Jon Jones wants to return in December. He's told us that since he came back against Gustafsson back in December of last year. He said he wanted to fight December, March, July, December, trying to make up for lost time. I don't think the performance was bad from Jon Jones. I don't think the boos were warranted. I agree with Dominick. Boos are never warranted. If there's a really boring fight, okay, I understand. I don't think that was a boring fight. I thought that was a riveting fight. I thought it was great drama. When have we seen Jon in that close of a fight? We saw him against Gustafsson back at 165. We saw him against DC at 217. When else? When have we seen him in trouble like that? When have we seen someone push the pace like that? When have we seen him, take punches like that? Absorb punches like that? And yeah, I know, I don't know where they came up with the fact that Thiago Santos has a torn ACL on the broadcast. Like, I don't know how you could have deemed that, diagnosed that. If he did, in fact, have a torn ACL and fought with a torn ACL and was able to kick with a torn ACL, that's just absurd because, from what I understand, a torn ACL really hurts and is crippling. Clearly, his knee was unstable, Thiago Santos. Clearly, he was hurt, but he was still landing punches. And I thought he was aggressive. Like, I don't understand what the fans wanted out of that fight. It was Jon Jones taking big punches in a pretty close affair in his first split decision win. And it wasn't one of these bogus split decisions. It was legit. Like, if Thiago Santos would have won that fight, I would have said, yeah, all right, I could see it. Second round. So I don't know. Like, was it the greatest fight of all time? No. Is it a fight of the year contender? No, but I really enjoyed it. Like, I was baffled by that. Truly was. All right. In a matter of moments, we are going to be joined by Jimi Manuwa, who recently retired. So we'll stay with the 205-pound division theme, but do not go anywhere because in the next hour, look at this lineup that we have coming up. Ben Askren, in his first interview since getting knocked out on Saturday in just 5 seconds, quickest knockout in UFC history. He is to come at around 3 o'clock. Francis Ngannou, who had the big win a couple weeks ago over Junior Dos Santos, he is to come. Israel Adesanya, who was in Las Vegas this past weekend. They announced that he'll be going up against Robert Whittaker October 5th to unify the middleweight title. Will that fight be in Las Vegas or will it be in Australia? They want it to be in Australia. All signs point to it being in Australia, but they still have to actually get it done. So we'll talk to him about that. Of course, we'll talk to him about Jon Jones. He has that back and forth. Jon was on the show a couple weeks ago, said he was, quote, light in the ass. All that and more. So I'm looking forward to talking to Israel Adesanya. And then we'll wrap things up with a man of the hour, Jorge Masvidal, who knocked out Ben Askren in 5 seconds and who is just on top of the world, who has become a megastar all of a sudden. And a lot of credit goes, in my opinion, to his manager, Abraham Kawa, has done a phenomenal job with him in terms of getting him the right fights, building the character, doing some things behind the scenes, the social media. That all comes into play. It really does. Like, you can be a good fighter and show up and fight, but like you have to kind of stay in the limelight. You have to kind of do things. And some fighters don't want to do it. Masvidal has been on the show before, and he has told us he doesn't want to do it. He doesn't want to do Twitter. He doesn't want to do Instagram. So some people need some help, and he has helped them. I didn't get a chance to talk about some of the other results from this past Saturday. So while we are waiting for Manuwa to connect with us, just want to recognize Julia Avila, who had a great win. Also, I liked her post-fight speech afterwards about people who are battling cancer and single mothers. I thought that was really cool. She had a nice win over Pani Kianzad. Chance Rencounter had a big win over Ismail Naordiev, who had a lot of buzz surrounding him. Edmund Shabazian. And it was very nice to see Mr. Edmund Tarverdian this past week. I hadn't seen him in quite some time. Shabazian is a product of the Glendale Fighting Club and is undefeated, had the big win over Jack Marshman, submitted him in just 72 seconds. He is managed by one Ronda Rousey, quote unquote. Still would love to know like what she actually does as far as management goes, but I think it's a good story. How about Song Yadong with the knockout over Alejandro Perez? Knocked him out in just 2 minutes and 4 seconds. Song is a product of Team Alpha Male or Team Alpha. Uriah Faber was with him all week. I was kind of surprised. Faber has a fight coming up this week in Sacramento, his big return fight, coming out of retirement to fight Ricky Simone, co-main event. And Faber has always been that guy that is going to, support the team. Remember when he lost at UFC 169? He got on the microphone after the loss to Barao, and he was pumping up Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillashaw. He's always been that guy. He's always been a great team captain. He's always been a great mentor. But he's returning next week, and he's a father now and a little bit older. But there he was. Fight week with Song. He was at Media Day. He was cornering him. Did the whole thing. And that was a great performance, knocking out Perez in, like I said, 2 minutes and 4 seconds. Claudia Gadelia has changed teams. She's now training with Mark Henry in the squad in New Jersey. She had a big win over Randa Marcos. Marlon Chito Vera had the submission win over Noelan Hernandez. And, of course, Arnold Allen over Gilbert Melendez. And you know the rest as far as the main card is concerned. Now let us say hello to our next guest. He recently retired. Curious to see what's going on in the life of one Jimi Manuwa. He is kind enough to join us right now via the magic of Skype. Jimmy, how are you?
What's up, Ariel?
Not much, my friend. It's good to talk to you. It's good to hear from you. So congratulations on a great career, my friend. Why did you decide to retire?
Do you know what? I think for me it was just time to call it a day. I had 4 losses in a row, and that was the main reason,
Okay. The last one was.
Do you know what? And do you know what? All that time I felt great in training. I've always been in the best shape of my life when it comes to fights and that. And then, but then I go and lose, which is hard to deal with, So I decided to knock it on the head.
Yeah, and 3 of the last 4 were knockouts, and the last one was scary, with your head bouncing off the mat. How did you feel in the aftermath of that knockout?
You know what? There's bits you don't remember, sort of thing. But I don't know. It was a bad knockout, And for me, I should be beating these guys, And that's another reason why I decided to call it a day,
Did you know that night in Stockholm that you were done? Did we lose him? Can you hear me, Jimmy?
No, it wasn't that. No, it was more like a few days later when it all sank in, and that,
The connection is a little bit iffy there. Should we reconnect? What should we do? We're gonna reconnect. Jimmy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you too. Okay, let's see. Let's see if this is better. So you were saying you needed a couple days to decide whether or not you were going to hang it up. What was ultimately the final the final thing that led to the decision?
It was more when the loss kind of sank in, and I thought, you know what, it's time. It wasn't one specific thing. It was just a combination of stuff.
Do you feel at peace with the decision?
For now, yes. But you know, I look at cards like the other day's cards and other good cards, and I wish that I was part of it. So you know, those kind of things give me the itch.
Well, I know in the fight game, it's somewhat common for someone to retire and come back. In fact, I just saw your friend Alexander Gustafsson say in the media a couple days ago that he's starting to get the itch again. So do you think this is it for you, or do you think you'll actually fight again?
For now, I think I'm at peace with the decision. You know.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm chilling for now. I'm chilling for now.
You have a little bit of a smile on your face there. I feel like you've got something up your sleeve.
No, do you know what? For now, I'm just going to enjoy life and enjoy my family. You know, Ariel.
Yeah.
I think I've missed out on a lot of my kids' time and everything. So I'm going to catch up on that and you know, make some good decisions.
Right. Okay. And do you leave with any regrets, or are you overall content with your career?
No, I'm happy, man. I'm happy with my career. You know, coming in at 28 years old and doing the things I did and getting as far as I did. You know, I'm at peace with myself, and I'm at peace with knowing that the fans are as a fan favorite for giving bangers of fights and everything. And you know, I'm happy. I'm happy. I put 10 years into it. You know.
You've had some great moments, some great knockouts. Is there one that really stands out? Is there one moment that's your favorite?
I think no, not really. That's some great knockouts. Even in Ultimate Challenge, Cage Rage, where I used to fight, that's some great knockouts there. But I think the icing on the cake was probably the um not OSP fight. The what's it called? What's his name? I forget his bloody name now. In London, where I knocked him out.
Corey Anderson?
Corey Anderson, that's it. Sorry.
Yeah, that was a big one. In fact, that was your last win.
Yeah, but that was more like the icing on the cake for my career, you know.
So speaking of Cage Warriors, there was a Cage Warriors event 2 weeks ago, and I saw that you took a picture with Graham Boylan, who's the head honcho over there, and I think you were sort of hinting at something. Are you going to get into business? Are you going to start promoting? What do you have in store there?
No, not now. I think I should give back a little bit to the fighters and stuff, and I might get into a little bit of management and stuff for the fighters and that, you know, and because I see a lot of things in my career. I might get into management. I've got the help of Paradigm as well, who I'm with, and Audiato and that, and you know, take it to the next level and that.
Okay. Do you have young fighters already that you're considering managing?
Yeah, I've been approached and that, and I've also worked with a few fighters already, and you know, I'm just gonna blossom the business.
Okay. Is this something that you've always been interested in?
No, it's something that I've always had my finger in the pie. You know, I've pointed fighters in the right direction in the past and everything, and I feel that with my contacts and my experience and that you know, we can do good business.
Curious, since it's your division, what did you think of John Jones on Saturday?
I think it was a good fight. I don't think John Jones performed to his greatest level, but it's a great fight, man. Thiago put up a great fight against John Jones, and I don't know. I think a lot of fighters will be licking their fingers right now.
You think he's slipping a little bit? You don't think he's as dominant as he once was?
I think he is, but I don't think it was a great performance.
Okay. Does Thiago deserve?
Yeah.
I mean, you've been in there with Thiago. You felt that power. Does he deserve some of that credit?
Yeah, 100%. Thiago put up a great fight and that, and he took him 5 rounds, and it was only a split decision, wasn't it? So it was a great fight.
Were you surprised that John took some of those punches?
Yeah. Can't take any credit away from John. He's very good at rolling with his punches. So I wouldn't say that they were like flush punches.
Right.
And that, but he's mate, it was a great fight, man.
And what about the opponent that you last fought, which for now will stand as your last fight, Alexander Rakic, a young up-and-comer, if you will? That performance seemed to open a lot of eyes. Do you feel like he has a long career? Were you impressed with him?
Leading up to the fight, I expected to beat him and that. But I think he's a good all-rounder, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's elite and that, but I think he's a good all-rounder.
Do you have any concerns as you approach 40 and, of course, you know, well into your life? Do you have any health concerns after the knockouts and the trauma that you've taken in the last few fights?
What do you mean?
Well, you know, trauma to the brain. Do you have concerns about, you know, health concerns about later on in life? Is that part of the reason why you're deciding to walk away now?
Well, for myself or
yeah. No, for yourself.
Or for fighters.
For yourself.
Well, you've always got to take the precautions and stuff. So, you know, that's another reason why I decided to knock it on the head. You know.
Right. So you're gonna take a break from training?
So, you know. Yeah, but I've been taking a break from training. I've been doing weights and stuff, but the body's getting bored now, you know.
Yeah.
So, I feel like I might do some grappling or something.
Well, you still have your daughters who are YouTube sensations, right? So you can manage their careers as well.
Yeah, exactly. My oldest daughter's going into property now, so I'm helping her get into that as well, some real estate development and stuff. So yeah, keeping myself busy now.
All right, and so you're going to still be a part of the fight game. For now, managing fighters, working with promotions and grooming fighters and teaching them some of the things that you learned in your career.
100%, yes.
And you've had, I mean, I remember the first time that we spoke many moons ago, and the things that you've overcome in your life. To have the run that you've had in the UFC, I agree with you. You should not, you know, feel down about anything. You should be very proud of all that you've overcome and have been able to accomplish. And you were one of those guys that was leading the way for the you know, the British fans and the British fighters. You were one of the pillars of the UFC European scene. So I think you've had a stellar career, and I just wanted to congratulate you on that.
Yeah, thanks very much, Ariel. It's always great coming on your show and giving back to the fans, you know.
For sure. All right, well, keep us posted on who you're grooming, who you're signing, what you're doing, and you know, take some time off. You've had a good run. You've given out a lot of knocks. You've taken a lot of knocks. It's time for a rest.
Yeah, 100%.
All right.
I'll speak to you soon, Ariel.
Okay, take care. There he is, Jimi Manuwa, stopping by. Good to talk to him. 17-6 as a professional. Announced his retirement in June last month after his loss to Alexander Rakic. 15 of his 17 career wins by KO or TKO, and 6 career wins in the UFC. The last 4, though, they were tough ones, and he fought tough guys, no doubt about that. Volkan Ozdemir, Jan Blachowicz, Thiago Santos, Alexander Rakic. His last 2 wins were against Corey Anderson and OSP. Had the fight against Anthony Joshua. Has been in the game since 2008. Poster boy Jim saying goodbye, but he did have that smile on his face, which makes me wonder if this is really goodbye for him. And of course, I saw my friends, I believe it was over at MMA Nut, and that's NYTT, the Swedish MMA site, who spoke to Alexander Gustafsson recently, and it seems like he's now starting to get that itch, and he fought like a month ago, so not that long. Spoke to a member of his team this past week in Las Vegas, and they said, you know, we'll see what happens. Doesn't sound like anyone's saying that he's 100% walking away. This football over here is bothering me. Got to represent the Bills. All right, in a matter of moments, we'll be joined by the man I think you all want to hear from, Ben Askren. Suffered his first pro loss on Saturday in Las Vegas and went on Twitter later that night and had an incredible tweet. All he wrote was, well, that sucked. And I'm looking at his feed. I mean, it's just amazing, how he handles it. There was a tweet from Heather Hardy. His "well, that sucked" tweet has 158,000 likes. That's insane. Heather Hardy tweeted this on Saturday night. MMA is hard, man. Stop being a-holes when people lose. It takes a ton of balls to step inside that cage. And then he retweeted that and said, LOL, it's fine. I probably deserve it, with a laughing emoji. So he appears to be handling it quite well. He was transported to the hospital on Saturday night, but discharged shortly thereafter. Made it to his after party. I was texting with him. Usually I don't like to ask people to come on the show after a loss, and especially after a loss like that. But he seemed to be in pretty good spirits, and I decided might as well shoot my shot here because he's always been very gracious with his time and always been an amazing interview. And he said yes. And so I think in a matter of moments, hopefully, we are going to connect with Ben Askren. And, well, he just texted me. Are we good with him? After that, Corporate Jake telling me that they're efforting. Well, he didn't say efforting, but I knew he wanted to say efforting. There you go. Now he said efforting. Francis Ngannou, Israel Adesanya, and then one Jorge Masvidal will be joining us. So a lot more to come on this edition of the program. I appreciate everyone who has tuned in. And huge week coming up in the world of mixed martial arts. Contender Series is back tomorrow on ESPN Plus. PFL is back. It's actually week 4. I said it was week 5 before. It's week 4 this Thursday from Atlantic City, 8:30 Eastern on ESPN2. Kayla Harrison in the co-main. Sarah Kaufman on the card. Ray Cooper on the card, going up against John Howard. One championship with Angela Lee on Friday. Bellator with Julia Budd on Friday. LFA on Friday, and UFC on ESPN Plus on Saturday from the Golden One Center in Sacramento, California. Jermaine Durandamy against Aspen Ladd. Winner of that fight, next for Amanda Nunez, we shall see. And co-main is Uriah Faber versus Ricky Simone. Let us not waste any more time. Let's say hello now to our next guest. So very kind to join us. I know a lot of you thought he wouldn't, and there he is, the one and only Ben Askren. Ben, how are you?
Hey. I'm doing well. Usually it's on more joyous terms that I'm joining you, Ariel.
Yes, it is. And I have to say, I really respect the fact that you're coming on the show. People thought I was lying when I announced that you'd be on, but you're a class act, my man. So thank you for doing this.
Well, I got nothing to hide from. Obviously, mistakes happen, losses happen. Saturday night was definitely not ideal for myself, but I got nothing to complain about.
Okay, how do you feel, first and foremost?
You know what? I think Saturday night was least traumatizing for me. There's a little part of my memory that's blank there, but man, I remember being in the cage with him. I don't really remember the flying knee. And then when I can recall, I remember everything. I was like, oh shit, I lost to Jorge Masvidal. This freaking sucks. When everyone else was more worried about me than I was worried about myself. And I didn't really have any pain of any sort, not a headache, nothing on my face hurts. And so it was just like, oh, Jesus, I lost to Jorge Masvidal. How did I lose to him? How fast was it? I could tell it was pretty fast because I wasn't like sweaty or sore or anything. So I knew it was fast. I didn't know exactly how fast it was. And, apparently I guess I set a record of some sort.
When do you recall regaining your memory? Like, were you in the back? Were you still in the cage?
No, I was at the hospital.
Oh, really? Wow. You don't remember anything in the cage?
I don't. So I was obviously awake, but no, it's not. I'm not piecing all of that together.
Wow. And who told you?
It's unfortunate.
Who told you about what happened?
My wife, and then obviously I saw via social media.
Right. And what is it like? Yeah. What is it like getting that information from your wife? You've never experienced that before.
Never. Yeah, you know what? Effing Eddie Alvarez actually jinxed me. When I was on your show, Ariel, in Chicago, they were
Yeah.
all talking in the back, and they were all lamenting their knockout losses. They're like, "Yeah, usually we could say everyone's had this happen to them, but not you, Ben." And then I felt guilty for it not happening to me, and now I guess I get to join the club, unfortunately.
Does it feel like a weight has been lifted off your shoulders, or is this a club you never wanted
No,
to join?
absolutely not. I didn't want to join this damn club.
Oh.
No, no,
Uh,
of course not.
how was your wife handling it on Saturday?
She was fine. I mean, I think she was sad. I had an after party to go to, so I felt fine. So we grabbed some food. I went to that, and you got to see I had a lot of friends in town, so I got to see my friends. I slept in Sunday. I went to the pool and hung out with some friends, took a nap, and went to dinner with them, and enjoyed their company. So obviously not under the terms that I would have really envisioned them being under, but nevertheless, got to see a bunch of good friends, and that was fun.
How long were you at the hospital for?
Oh, it couldn't have been long. Oh, I can't tell you exactly what time I went into the cage at, um, but I could tell you that John Jones was still fighting while when I was you know figuring stuff out. John Jones was still fighting, and then I think I was out of the hospital before 10 p.m. So whatever the math on that is.
Do they make you do tests there? Like, what do they
Yeah,
do to determine?
yeah.
What'd you do?
I don't. I'm not a doctor. I believe a CT scan and something else.
Did you
Well,
suffer a
they said
concussion?
Well, they said their test didn't show anything, obviously, but the fact that I went unconscious, I believe that's defined as a concussion.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
I'm not a doctor as well,
fair
but
enough.
I just wanted to
You
double
should be a
check.
doctor by now. Been
Um,
doing this podcast for a decade or so.
sure, fair enough. Did you ever envision the fight starting like that? Did that scenario ever cross your mind?
You know what? I was ready for knees, and I did say to Duke multiple times in the back room, I think he's gonna try something crazy right away. If you remember the Till fight, obviously he ran across the ring and kicked Till in the balls like in
Right.
the first 4 seconds. And I had an inkling that he's gonna try something right away. And I've kind of always thought like, who the hell gets flying knee? Like, can't you see that coming? It's coming from so far away. But when I watched the film, I mean, I don't like George at all, but that was a damn good flying knee. And he hit it fast and explosively. He got some serious airtime on it, and then obviously connected in the right spot.
As far as your technique is concerned, do you feel like you did anything wrong? I mean, obviously, if you could have done it differently, you would do it differently. But do
Yeah.
you regret the technique?
I mean, it's hard saying it's wrong. That would be total confirmation bias if I were to say that, and obviously a lot of people would. But the fact that is, I've been in the cage 19 times, and that type of technique has worked 19 other times, and it's never failed me. And so now, to the one time it fails me, to turn around and say, "Yeah, that's bad technique. That's not the way I should have done it. It was predictable." To say those things, obviously they would be correct, but it's also confirmation bias, and a lot of people fall for their own confirmation bias, and so I'm not going to fall for my own confirmation bias. That the way I had done things had worked every single other time. I obviously had never had a defeat previous to this, and so I got I got hit. I got hit hard. It's fine. It happens. It's a mistake, and I think that's all there is to it.
How many times have you watched it?
I think it's once or twice.
Really? And where did you see it? Online? On your phone?
Yeah.
And what's
Yeah, there's my Twitter's been blowing up. Errol, I think my biggest previous tweet was like 27,000 likes or something, which is respectable. But all I wrote after the fight was, "Well, that sucked," and
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I needed to elaborate any more on that. I think it was pretty obvious, and it got like 170,000 likes
Yes.
or something absurd. So I think people are enjoying my pain, which whatever. And then I don't want to miss say it, but Heather Hardy, she's a fighter on here. She said MMA is hard. Stop being assholes when people lose. Takes a lot of balls to step in the cage. And while that is true, I feel like I probably deserve it. I've been antagonizing people for about a decade now, and it never came up on the end of the stick. Now I'm not reading everything they're antagonizing me with. Obviously, I'm scrolling through it. I don't want to dwell on that. But fair enough. I always figured when this point happened that I would get I'd get lit up, and I'm not paying attention to it, but I'm sure I am. I'm getting lit up.
Is the
Hey,
lighting up?
Ariel,
Yes.
huge. I just realized this guy. I checked Heather Hardy's tweet right there.
Yeah.
Had 250,000 followers. I think that's some kind of Milestone.
That is a big deal. Mazel tov. Well done. As far as the lighting up is concerned, is it worse than you expected?
I'm not looking at it.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you. I told you to tell me.
All right. Well, how about this? How about Dylan Dennis and Darren Till, two guys who you've had, back and forth with, both saying nice things and telling you to keep your chin up. And did you see that? Yeah.
I did not. I told you. Listen, I mean, one of the things you can't do when stuff like this happens for me on social media is dwell on all the stuff people are saying. I just try to scroll through it. Obviously people who are close to me have texted me and checked in on me. But yeah, I mean, that's nice. Not that I expected it or anything. I figured they would have tore me up, which would have been definitely fair on their part, and I would not have been upset at them for doing so.
Dylan Dennis wrote, respect to Ben Askren, talked a big game and put it on the line. A true warrior. He will be back with a bang. Darren Till wrote, unlucky Ben. SHIT happens. You'll be back. So how about that?
Wow. Well, yeah, that's very nice of those guys. Although, like I said, I wouldn't have been mad if they would have went a little harder in the paint on me. I think that would have been fair. I probably would have deserved it. Yeah, but I mean, honestly, on the one side of me says, holy shit, like, how did I get knocked out in 5 seconds? I honestly, man, I've been in this game for 10 years. I haven't really got hit hard barely at all. I've never really been rocked. I've never been dropped. So I was almost getting to the point where I don't want to say I was careless, but I kind of thought I was almost invincible or just had a tough skull, which obviously that was, it was a hell of a hit, but it was probably proved wrong on Saturday night. So yeah, unfortunately, a rude awakening, and not the way I would have liked it to go down. But at the same time, I don't want to say I hate the term. I hate when I see a few people saying George got lucky. That's not lucky, man. It's I mean, is it going to happen 100 out of 100 times? Definitely not. But landing a knee like that takes a lot of skill. I couldn't do such a thing, and but at the same time, I don't feel like it was like I didn't get my ass kicked for 15 minutes and get stuffed on 13 takedowns and just beat up. And people say, "Oh, he sucks." It's like, man, I got caught with the flying knee. I got knocked out. There's not much I can do about it.
In your life, like as far as training is concerned, have you ever been rocked or knocked down?
Never, ever in my life.
Wow. I was talking to Paul Felder after the fight. We did a little wrap up, and he suggested that maybe because of this, you'll change things as far as your training is concerned. Is that something you'll look to do?
I don't know. I don't know what he means by that exactly. Again, confirmation bias would say, hey, maybe I'm doing something wrong. But at the same time, man, I was feeling great. I was feeling my shape was outstanding. Everything was really feeling on point. I had made some really, really good improvements in my jiu-jitsu. Everything was feeling really good. So no, I mean, like going into the fight, if you said, hey, do you need to make some changes? I would have said, no, I feel great. Everything I think is going really well. And then so now because I get kneed in the head one time, I need to change everything. I don't think that's a healthy way to think of things. Obviously, if this happened multiple times, or like I said, if I was stopped a whole bunch of times, it kind of would look bad, then maybe I would revisit that. But it was one strike. It happened. It's MMA. It's dangerous. And there's not really much else to say about that. But no, I felt like my training was great. I didn't really feel like I did anything wrong. And I was really happy with my training camp.
Do you want to keep fighting?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, I haven't even thought of my path forward, Ariel. I had such a nice path set up. And I did it for myself. And Jorge Masvidal was my pick. I went to London. I said, I'm going to fight the winner until Masvidal. I got it. That was who I wanted to fight. And that was my path to a title. And I had created all this hype and all this momentum. And I was right where I wanted to be. I mean, I was right on the precipice of having that title shot against Usman if I go and win the fight on Saturday night. And now it's like I said, I enjoyed hanging out with my friends yesterday. I flew home this morning. I haven't really thought about, hey, where am I now? What's my path forward? Who am I going to fight next? I hadn't really thought of that because I was all in on the one thing happening. The other thing happened. So I guess I have to take some time to regroup. I'm assuming that I'll be suspended for, I didn't look at what my suspension is, but I'm assuming I'll be suspended for a significant amount of time, with not even any training due to the fact that I'm unconscious. So I will have some time to, plot my path forward.
According to Nevada, you're suspended until September 5th, no contact until August 21st. So,
okay. Thanks. I appreciate it. How'd you have that knowledge right on hand? You knew I was going to say that?
Listen, I'll give credit to Corporate Jake for that one. He said it in my ear. But what about the extra punches as you were clearly out? How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I didn't even watch them.
Okay.
I don't care. It happens. I knew what I signed up for. Do I like George Masvidal? No. If you asked me before the fight if George knocks you out, he's going to take a few extra shots, I would have said, yep, he definitely is. So that's his, if that's what he wants to do, that's fine.
Does the fact that it's a record bother you more?
No, I think that's probably a positive. Right? I mean, would you want to be somewhere in mediocrity at like 24 seconds, or you want to have a record at 5?
Might as well just take the record.
You might as well just have the record. Yeah. Also, if you calculate like my pay per hour due to a 5-second knockout, it's pretty fantastic.
Okay, so what about the fact that it is a guy that you don't like, right? Like there was clearly some heat there between you guys, some bad blood.
Yeah.
The fact that he has this victory over you now.
Yeah, it's annoying. What am I to do about it? Cry? Ask for a rematch? I don't deserve a rematch. I got knocked out in 5 seconds. What do you want me to do? Ariel, sometimes life doesn't go your way. Sometimes you get your ass kicked. Sometimes you lose. You don't have to like it, but you got to accept it.
Did you see him afterwards?
I might have. I don't recall it if I did.
Right. I don't know if you saw him in the hotel or something afterwards, after party.
I did not. I was staying. Yeah, I stayed at the Paris hotel afterwards. So, no, I didn't see him at all.
Okay. And did you see any of his post-fight comments?
No, wouldn't bother watching those. That would probably annoy me. So I figured I should bother.
Well,
I'm sure they weren't all that complimentary. I'm sure he had a lot of bad things to say about me. And that's fine. But I antagonized the shit out of him. That was on purpose. I was trying to first get him to accept the fight, second then make him mad. And so obviously, like those extra punches, it's fine. It's probably what should be expected in a scenario like that.
He said something to the effect that wasn't the 3-piece in the soda. That was the whole MGM Grand Buffet that he threw at you.
Well, I guess that was what he needed to throw at me, and he was successful in doing so. So good job, George.
What is it like for someone who's been so dominant to see yourself in that spot, like to see yourself get knocked out? What is that experience like?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it in those terms at all. I mean, obviously we go through life. Now I got to be on a damn highlight effing clip. I was laughing because when they did that bottle cap challenge was pretty popular last week.
Yeah.
You remember what they were doing? And I thought the UFC they were such dicks because they put Ronda's head as a bottle.
Oh no.
And Holly was kicking it off. And so obviously I wouldn't fit in the bottle cap challenge, but I'm sure that highlight will be played many times into the future, which is not ideal for me. But again, it happened. There's nothing I can do to change it, and so me being upset about it is not really going to do me any good whatsoever.
When is the last time you recall losing on a big stage?
Well, I lost to Jordan Burroughs in May, but
I mean that was like an actual professional competitive.
In something I was actually like 100% focused on the last time would be the Olympics.
Wow. And how does this compare?
Doesn't it? Not nearly as painful.
Really?
I don't know. I honestly, with a lot of these things, at least in my life, I don't know. I can't speak for your life. You don't know exactly what something's going to feel like until you do it. You can guess and you can think about what it's going to feel like. And man, the Olympics, I was crushed. That was like something I put a decade of work, my whole life for a decade is all solely focused on one thing. And now obviously I've been undefeated for a decade. I've been working for to prove I was the best in the world for a decade. But as we know in MMA, it's different. In Olympics, I knew there was no way I was getting another shot for 4 years. If I was getting another shot, obviously I knew I also had MMA on my mind, so I decided to pursue that path. So I never got another shot. In this, it's like I said, I mean, Jorge Masvidal lost 2 in a row before he beat Darren Till and me, and now, he may or may not get a title shot, but he would be on the precipice of it. So, if I get a couple wins, I'm probably not too far away from achieving an ultimate goal. And the other thing I would say to that is I think I probably have so many other things going on in my life. Whereas when I was training for the Olympics, it was like the Olympics, wrestling. That's it. That's all I thought about. I mean, I might have went and socialized or chased girls. I might have went to school, but all that shit was easy. All that shit was secondary. Everything in my life was solely focused on wrestling, and that was it all day, every single day. And now, like I said, my life is much more diversified.
Will this result change the way you approach fights now? Will you not talk as much trash or try to get under people's skin, or is it going to be the same?
No, of course it's gonna be the same. I mean, one of the moronic things that George is saying is like he deserved to get hit because he was talking all that trash, and it's like, listen, if I didn't say nothing, okay, number one, I wouldn't have got the fight. Number two, not that many people would have been excited. But number three, would you have really tried not to knock me out? Would you have like tried to be nice to me and play patty cake with me or paper scissors rock or something? No. Listen, no matter what happened, you were gonna try to knock me out. So why are you saying this narrative that you tried to knock me out because I was talking trash? You were gonna try to knock me out, literally, no matter what happens. What we do, Ariel, is a cage fight. The whole point is to incapacitate the opponent, and so which they cannot compete any longer. And so the idea that he tried to make it worse because I was talking trash is it's insane. It's just totally ridiculous. And I know it sounds good and it sounds right and it sounds like what most people would think, but that's just not the case. And if he is not trying hard against other people because they're not talking trash, I would probably tell him he should probably rethink his strategy and try hard against everyone regardless of what they say to him.
Did you see this footage that they posted afterwards of them practicing the flying knee?
Yes, I saw that.
What do you make of
Yeah,
that?
I mean, I had a good idea that he was, like I said, he was going to try a knee. I had a good idea that was coming. It just, he executed well. That's what it comes down to. I mean, he had a game plan. He executed really well. He got the knockout. I had a game plan. I obviously didn't execute. I didn't even get the opportunity to execute, but I didn't execute very well on the one thing that I tried to do.
What was your game plan?
Close distance, take him down.
Okay.
I wasn't really secretive of that. I mean, you knew that.
Right. Anyone in particular reach out to you about this, about how to handle this? Any text or phone call that you got that stood out?
I've got that stood out. No, I've got I mean, I have a lot of people that care about me. I got a lot of really, really good texts and phone calls in the last day. I mean, hey, obviously, there's a few people who are undefeated in mixed martial arts. I would say Khabib and John Jones. Besides that, everyone's experienced a defeat of some sort. And even if you would say John Jones and Khabib, I'm sure they've experienced some loss or some failure at some point in their life. We all experience loss and failure. It's part of what makes us what we are. It's part of the struggle. It's part of what makes us strong. And so, wishing to go through life without struggle or failure that's wishing for a shitty life. You don't really want that. I want struggle and I want failure. I want my kids to have struggle and I want my kids to have failure. I want the kids I coach to have struggle and failure. That's what makes us who we are. So it's fine and I accept it.
Do you now have a newfound respect for Jorge Masvidal?
No, that guy's a douche. No, I don't like him. I mean, listen, he's a good fighter. I said he was a good fighter before I fought him. There's no doubt about that. But the whole attitude, kind of what I said earlier about how he said he wanted to knock me out more because, I talked trash was ridiculous. He was going to try to knock me out,
right?
No matter what the scenario was.
Do you think he could be champion?
I think he matches up decent against Usman. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't appear, and I haven't looked a lot into it, but it doesn't appear they're going to give him the shot, and that's probably due to him failing to show up for media today. It's probably precarious for them to throw him into a title shot and not know if he's going to show up to promote the title shot. So maybe they're going to wait and see what happens with Colby and Robbie. Tyron's still kind of a wild card because he hasn't accepted a fight yet. Obviously, I get knocked way down the totem pole. And so, yeah, I don't know. I guess I think I heard somewhere that they said Usman wasn't healthy or something yet.
Yeah.
But that's probably an excuse for them saying they don't really want to give Masvidal the shot.
Wow, so you heard that he's going to be sort of punished for this.
I didn't hear that. I'm surmised. I mean, Errol,
Okay.
they didn't say you're getting a title shot, George, and he won in about as spectacular fashion as you could win. I mean, could he have really won in any more spectacular fashion?
No, I mean, no, absolutely. I mean,
could
it was a
he
record.
really won in any way that gave him more publicity?
No.
No, I mean, I saw one video. It was only one video. I saw one video of myself getting knocked out on. I think it was Twitter. It had 7 million views.
Oh my God.
brutal. But yeah, I mean, so there's not really. I mean, I think I said this on what day was media day? Friday, Thursday? I don't whenever it was. Ariel, I said it's not a number one contenders bout. It's a title shot for me if I win. For him, it's not. He won in about as spectacular fashion as you could win. He won getting about as much publicity as you could get. He was the most anticipated fight on the card because of all that trash I talk. So, George wants to say thank you to me for that. That's fine. And he still didn't get a title shot. So I think that tells you that I was probably correct. I think they'll, like I said, I think they'll probably weigh their options. I think they'll see what happens with Colby and Robbie, and then they'll probably go from there. And then they also have Leon Edwards and Dos Anjos later this month as well. So yeah, I think they're probably gonna wait and see how that plays out. But I think my prediction on that last Thursday was correct.
And you sound okay. Did you feel okay right now?
Oh, I'm great. Yeah, I feel fine. Like I said, when it clicked at the hospital, oh shit, I lost the freaking Jorge Masvidal. When everything clicked, it was like my head didn't hurt, my face didn't hurt, nothing hurt. I felt perfectly fine. There was no headache, there was no stomach ache, there was no nothing. I mean, literally nothing. It was just like, oh, this sucks. I kept groaning the whole night, like, I lost to that guy. Oh, terrible. I mean, Ariel, if you really think about it, I was on, and you could, like I said, I could sit and cry about this, but it's not really worth my time because it's not going to do anything. I was just about to get a damn title shot. I was just about to fulfill a lot of dreams that I've had for a long time, and I failed to do that. And that's it's kind of a tough pill to swallow, but it's something I do. I can't change the past. I got knocked out, and I accept that.
You're going to take it easy now the rest of the summer?
Yeah, like you said, I was going to look up my suspension at some point later today. You said I was suspended with no contact till
August 21st. August 21st.
That's probably pretty smart. So yes, I actually, you know what? I probably won't take it easy. I got a really busy month of July where I'm gonna go to national team training camp on Thursday. We have our nationals for all of our kids. We've our academy, not the state of Wisconsin, but just our academy is the 3 that we have. We're sending 48 kids to the freestyle portion, men and women, of the cadet and junior national tournament later this week. So we got a lot of guys who hopefully will do pretty well and earn themselves some college scholarships and earn themselves some recognition. And so I'm really looking forward to that. I've had to step back from coaching a little bit. And I'm excited to hop back in there for the next couple weeks. I
got to say, I don't know how anyone can hate Ben Askren. The way you're handling this is very commendable, my friend. Really, it is.
Well, sometimes I try to be as hateable as possible.
Yes.
And that that suited me pretty well.
It has done you well, and that's why I think this moment is such a big deal. If you weren't that way, no one would care. So it's a testament to you, even though it's coming off a loss. But you're handling it with such class, for the most part. I know you and Jorge will never see eye to eye, but it's really.
You don't have to like. We don't have to.
Sure.
Do you have to like every single person on the planet?
No,
I think the answer, no. There's some people you don't like the way they do things, and that's fine. There's probably a lot of people who they don't like the way I do things, and that's fine. I'm really not going to hold it against them. I'm not going to think they're a dick because they think that of me. That's just what they think of me, and that's fine.
It's just really impressive because a lot of times when people lose like that, they go away for a long time. Here you are on the Monday after and answering all the questions. So I really appreciate it, Ben. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, no problem. Like I said, I just want to repeat this. I think this is so important. This is something I think a lot of parents struggle with in youth athletics. That's kind of where I spend a lot of my time is they try to protect their kids from struggle and failure. And it's like, I want my kids to experience that because that's what builds character. And that's what I'm experiencing right now, even though I don't like it. And it's part of what makes you who you are. And it's a really important experience.
Have your kids seen you yet?
Yeah, they're upstairs. They're waiting for me. We're filling up the little inflatable pool. We're having a good time.
Okay, so they're
good.
And
I finally have a yard. And I finally have a driveway where we just redid the house and everything. So I'm pretty stoked to be home. I got home like 2 hours ago.
Okay, life is good. I'll let you go to your family. Thank you for doing this, Ben. I appreciate it.
Got it.
All right, there he is, Ben Askren. I mean, what could you say? Unbelievable. He comes on, answers all the questions, and I I hope people can respect that because that is a very impressive thing. All right, let's move along now and say hello to our next guest. He's coming off an amazing win over one Junior Dos Santos. Let's say hello now to Francis Ngannou, who I do believe was in attendance on Saturday. Francis, ça va mon ami?
Ça va très bien, et toi, Ariel?
Ça va très bien. Congratulations, félicitations on the last one. You know, it's amazing that we're talking to you today, Francis, because exactly 1 year ago, International Fight Week, you were booed out of the building. Everyone was saying you were done. Brock Lesnar saying you were done. Here you are a year later, 3 straight wins, under 71 seconds. How did you do it, my friend? How did you get over that moment to go on this run now?
You know, first of all, thank you. And also thank you for the support because you didn't let me down. I know that, and you were some of those guys who keep to believe in me, and that was very important, you know. But come back to the real story. That's all what my life is about, you know. Always have to overcome obstacles, and that for me was just some obstacle. It was just some experiences, some bitter experiences, and I knew that I gonna build from that experiences to make to do something great, become better.
Do you remember how you felt that night in Las Vegas after the Derek Lewis fight when you were at T-Mobile? Do you remember what you were saying to yourself, what your coaches were saying as you were going to try to figure this out and get back on track?
Yes, I still remember. And what I remember the most is what was going on in my mind in that fight, you know. And that's where I can figure out that I wasn't present in that fight, you know. I was still in the learning process, and that's why we are here today, because I learned from that. I learned from that 2 losses.
What was the biggest lesson that you learned?
You know, I learned how to handle fight, how to prepare. I learned how that fighting is not just about training, you know. Training might just be 40% of fighting business. Then you have the mental part, which is very important, the emotional part, which is very important. And yeah.
And now, I mean, could you have ever envisioned this? 3 straight knockouts against top contenders, against former champions, Cain Velasquez, JDS. Like, if I would have told you a year ago, don't worry, Francis, everything's going to be okay, you'll turn it around, would you have believed me that it would be like this exactly a year later?
Yes, I would have believed you because despite everything, I never doubt in myself. I knew that I was having a trouble handling myself, but you know, at some point I had to recognize that I'm not bad, you know, otherwise I couldn't make it in this point in 5 years. So that means I had something. And what is happening to me was just what is just what happened to everybody, you know, just struggling. I didn't have a chance to experience that earlier because I wasn't a athlete growing up. I didn't have a athlete education, but you know, I know it's gonna come, and it's more to come.
Yeah, and we'll get to what is to come in a second. I'm just curious the confidence that you had going into the Stipe fight. Like after you knocked out Alistair Overeem, it seemed like you were riding high. Can you compare the confidence that you have right now to the confidence that you had going into that fight? Like, are you more confident now after experiencing all this than you were going into the first title fight?
Okay, so the thing with that title fight, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I don't even know what were my feelings about that fight. I can't even remember because when I knocked out Alistair, like 2 days after, I just had a call from the USA. We started to talk about the Stipe fight. So I didn't, everything mixed up. I didn't have time to figure things out. So right after that, I think I kind of lost what was my feelings, you know. So I don't know exactly what was my feeling at that time.
Okay.
But now I kind of like trying to understand, like trying to connect to my feeling and trying to find out what is happening and deal with it.
Of the 3 wins that you've had, which one are you most proud of?
I think it was the first one against Curtis Blade because that was after 2 losses. You know, the taste of winning was very far away.
I understand that. I had a feeling that you were going to say that. Going into this fight, you didn't train with your old coach, Fernand Lopez. Why?
No, because he's in France, and so one of the mistake that I think I did basically for that title fight, I didn't give a chance to work with people here, and you know, when I get the call from the UFC, I was rushing, doing everything, like trying to go back to France, everything together, and that cost me a lot. I think that was a part of my failure.
Okay. Are you done with him, or in the future will you continue to work together?
We can still work together. I mean, like, but when I'm in Vegas, I'm in Vegas. I'm gonna be in Vegas. You know, I'm 2 foot in, no 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Right. Have you been told that your next fight will be for the belt?
Well, that's a big issue. He seems like they don't want to answer that question. There's still like speculation. I don't know why. For me, he seemed to be evidence, but for the UFC, they're still like, we will see. I don't know what that means exactly at the end, but that's what I'm waiting for.
Are you confused by this? I mean, what more do you need to do? Who do you need to beat?
No matter who is, I want to fight for the title.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point. You know, I'm not backing down to fight somebody, so everything's okay.
Have you or your management spoken to the UFC about where they stand?
I mean, like right after the fight, I was still in the octagon when I talked to Dana, and he said the same thing. He said, yes, let's see how this fight plays out in August. You know, so nobody want to like confirm, nobody want to say yes.
Was that Sorry, go ahead.
No, I said we haven't heard the word yes yet.
Was that the first time you spoke to him in several months?
Yes, the first and the last one. I mean, except of the weigh-in.
Right. Wait, that the first time and the last time?
Yes. That was the first time.
Yeah, and like since your title fight.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
You know, yeah. I don't speak to him too much. I speak mainly with Hunter.
With Hunter Campbell, yes.
Yeah.
Maybe it's time for a sit down.
I think so, but I mean, we done all what we have to do, and then I think it's up to them. We are waiting for it. But first of all, I think we have to wait and see how it plays out in August. Then we will talk about what's going on.
My theory was that if Stipe wins, they'll do the rematch. But if Daniel wins, he's going to vacate the title and either retire or one fight against John Jones. What do you think?
I mean, if Stipe wins, yes, they can do the rematch, but not right away. The rematch don't supposed to be right away. I mean, last year Daniel win, and they are doing the rematch, but Daniel has fought again. You know, so he doesn't mean to be back to back. Why we are here waiting? You know, and if Daniel wins and they want to do him with John Jones, yes, they can do it with John Jones, but I think I'm first in the line and I could fight him. Then after that, he can fight John Jones.
Who would you rather fight? Who would you rather win that fight so that you can fight him for the belt? The rematch or DC?
Okay. okay, so the thing is like, first, if I have to fight both of them, I would say I would like to fight a Stipe. You know, I would have so I can have the belt when I left where I left it. But when I think otherwise, if Daniel win too, it would be good for me to fight him before he retired. You know, because it seems like he's gonna be retired. He's gonna retire soon, so I would like to fight him before he retired. Otherwise, Stipe will be the good one for me. Then after, we'll see what's going on.
Who do you think wins that fight on August 17th?
August 17, I think he's not gonna play the same way. He's not gonna play the same way as he played the last time. But I could say DC will win this fight, maybe by submission or something.
Okay.
But I don't think this fight is gonna plays out as the first one.
And you were at UFC 239 on Saturday, right?
Yes.
What did you think of John Jones?
Well, I think John Jones just fight like he just had a very intelligent fight, and then since Thiago didn't break down, you know, because at some point I was expecting Thiago to, like, you know, break down mentally, but he was tough, he was present, and then he didn't give that open space to Jones to, you know, to execute him.
Do you feel at some point you will fight John Jones?
If he moves up to the heavyweight, yes, definitely. I mean, there are no way that could happen if he that couldn't happen if he moves up to the heavyweight. I'm definitely gonna fight him because I'm in the top in the division of him, and if he moves up, we're both gonna be in the same spot, and we will kind of have a conflict of interest. So at this point, we have to put it down.
And by the way, I love that video that you had that you put out around the NBA draft of you and Zion Williamson as his long lost brother. That was amazing. Who came up with that?
Well, I have a good management team,
yes.
So they have a lot of good idea like that.
Did you enjoy doing that?
I wasn't personally, no, I didn't. I didn't want to do it, and they was like, "It's gonna be fun. Trust us, it's gonna be fun." Then I'm like, "Okay, do it." But at the end, it came out to be a fun video. People really love it.
Yes. Have you ever seen him play, Zion Williamson?
Of course. I mean, he made me like became fan of basketball because he's very impressive. You know,
he's in Las Vegas. Watch. He's in Las Vegas right now.
I know he was. I don't know if he's here right now. But you know, we're gonna catch up. We're gonna meet up like a real brother, not like a random people in the street.
That's right. Yeah, I hope you guys meet because I think you're both managed by the same company, CAA. So I think that would make a lot of sense to have you guys together. Do you see the resemblance there between you two? Do you see that you look alike?
Yeah, I mean, few times people call me Zion, but people called me more like Khalil Mack than Zion.
Wait, who's that? Who do they call you?
Khalil Mack.
Oh, Khalil Mack. Okay.
Yeah, the football player.
That's right. Wow.
People always stop me like to say, "Hey, are you Khalil Mack?" I'm like, no. That's how I knew who was Khalil Mack because I didn't know him. Then when I check out, and I'm like, okay, you might have some resemblance.
Are you hopeful that you'll fight again this year?
Yes, definitely. I mean, my plan was to fight 3 times this year, and I fought twice, and I'm injury free. And we are still July? We still have like more than 5 months ahead. So yes, I would like to fight November, December, something like that.
Okay. Will you be going to Anaheim to watch that fight?
No, unfortunately, I will not be here. I will be in Africa, enjoying my family and running my foundation.
All right. Well, good luck over there, Francis, and congratulations on the win. 2 weekends ago, and just what you've been able to do over the past year. It's nothing short of amazing, my friend, and it's incredible because everyone counted you out. They booed you out of the building. They kicked you while you were down, and you didn't listen to any of them, and you turned it all around. So well done to you, my friend.
Thank you. This wasn't the first time that I have to face this obstacle that I have to challenge. At first, nobody didn't believe me that I could do this sport. I can do a sport at this level. I mean, even my family, knowing that all the love that they have for me, but they didn't believe it. So I have to prove them. I have to do things on my way to bring them in the table.
You have done just that. Thank you for the time, Francis. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Ariel. Talk to you soon.
All right. Always great to talk to Francis Ngannou, top contender at heavyweight. I think he needs to fight for the belt next. The big question is, will it be against Stipe Miocic, part 2, or will it be against Daniel Cormier, or for the vacant title? We shall find out. For now, though, let us turn our attention to our next guest. Talk of the town this past week in Las Vegas. They officially announced that he will be fighting Robert Whittaker for the unified middleweight title on October 5th. The big question is, though, where will it be? Let's ask him. Israel Adesanya, kind enough to join us. Izzy, how are you?
Perfect, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I believe you're still in Las Vegas, right?
Bro, get me the fuck out the city, man. Straight up.
You're done with it?
That's been crazy. I got here like a week ago on Sunday, and I was just like, all right, whatever, cool. Doing my thing, working, doing my testings at the PI, sober. And then after the Hall of Fame Awards, you know how it is, man. Vegas kind of just like sucks you in. But yeah, get me the fuck out of here. I want to work.
Okay, when are you leaving?
Well, hopefully tomorrow. And I got to go to Saudi Arabia because I got some work to do over there. I'm still on holiday. I'm still on tour. Like I said, I've been working for so long, so I got know when to hold them and know when to fold them. So right now I want to walk away and run.
Okay. So the big question for me is, where is that fight happening? Because the location is a big part of the story. It has to be in Australia, right?
Definitely. It's not in America. People keep saying, like, I heard a rumor from who? That's a silly notion if they even decide to have that fight in America because, do you hate money?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's going to be in Australia, definitely.
Where in Australia? You know.
I have an idea, but I know like this is a big fight, so a lot of people want to have this fight in their stadium or in their neck of the woods, and they're shopping around for it. And also they have the NRL Grand Final in Sydney that night, but the fight would normally be daytime on Sunday anyway. But I have an idea where it's gonna be.
Okay, are we talking big stadium?
Yeah, definitely. We want to sell it out.
Like we're talking 55,000 or so? Oh, I lost you there. Yeah. You hear me? Do you hear me, Izzy?
Perfect.
Do you hear me? Yeah?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Are we talking like 55,000 or so people?
Oh man, I see how you work, Ariel. It's gonna be big.
Okay, fair enough.
It's gonna be big. I'm talking maybe, even bigger than that.
Oh, all right. I like it. I just wanted to know where to book my flight. That's all.
Hey, I'll tell you off air, off the record.
Okay, fair enough. What did you make of the what did you make of the stare down? It was intense. What did you draw from that?
It was like staring into a crackhead's eyes. He's very intense. He's very focused. I was like, okay, cool. And I don't know. It is what it is. I'm glad he's not. I'm glad he's keeping that same energy now. He's not trying to fucking shake my hand and all that kind of shit because he backtracks. He'll say whatever he wants to say in the interview and then like, oh, I'm sorry, man. Oh, have I been talking that much shit? All right, well, whatever. Do you, boo-boo? But yeah, keep that same energy all the way past the fight.
Did you see him behind the scenes? Did you guys talk at all?
Nope, didn't see him. I saw him at the fights yesterday. I just gave him a little smile and wave. That's it.
By the way, the outfit was phenomenal. Every time it just keeps getting better. Yours was just, that was the best one.
Man, I'll give them a plug right now, but they don't want to give me the suit, so fuck them. I'm just going to buy it anyway. It was so nice, I had to wear it twice.
Who was that?
What do you mean?
Who, like what you were wearing? Who made
If
it?
they give it to me, I'll give them a little shout out.
Oh,
I'll
okay,
give them
fair
a little
enough.
shout out. But they're playing hardball right now because I rented it and then I kept on getting compliments. So I'm like, fuck it, I might buy it.
No, but I was
And
actually
they're playing
talking about
hardball now.
I was talking about the press conference outfit.
Oh, the press conference. Oh, that was just me. That's just fucking same drip.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like the at the fight.
No.
Yeah,
I
that was
like the
just,
press conference, the shorts,
Bruce
the
Lee.
socks. It was great.
Oh, man, it's hot out here in Vegas, man. Why the fuck would you wear a whole suit unless you're inside? So yeah, I mean, hey, that's just me, baby.
So you were at 239, correct?
Yeah.
What did you make of the main event, and in particular, John Jones's performance?
Meh. Honestly, there's something, Ariel. Every time someone sees me, a fan, and you guys, you fans you can attest to this. Every time a fan sees me, the first thing it goes, holy fuck, you're way bigger than I thought you were. Every time someone fights me or trains with me, like, fuck, you're way stronger than you look. And yeah, that fight, when you see someone fight live, something happens with the filter of the TV. It either makes me shorter or whatever. But when you see someone fight live, they look faster or they look slower. And homeboy just did. That's not it. He didn't have it. And yeah, my first time ever seeing him in real life. It's not it.
Wow.
He's fighting a former welterweight. His last fight was against a former middleweight. And again, meh. And he keeps having the same excuses. Oh, meh. Meh.
I didn't realize that was the first time you've seen him live in person. So you left
We've
unimpressed.
never been in the same room together. There's nothing to write home about. John Jones, one thing is he's been in this game a long time. He's been in the UFC a long time. He's getting old. I'm fresh. I've only been here just over a year. I'm the new kid, the new dog in the yard. I'm the sophomore, the freshman. He's a senior, and that's why he's a little bit jealous.
I don't know if you know this, but a couple of weeks ago, he was on my show, and I asked him about you. Do you mind if I refresh people's memories about what he said and get your response?
Roll the tape. Roll the tape.
Israel is light in the ass. He's light. He's skinny. He's skinny. I'll put my hands on him and teach him a whole different world of hurt. For him to be so frail and to not have a ground game is like, bro, you don't want to do it. And then to talk about my stand-up against Anthony Smith with his face all bubbled up against a short wrestler that just did that to him. It was just hilarious. I barely get touched when I fight. And so for Israel to talk about his striking skills being so much farther ahead than mine, it's hilarious. Just to sum up what I think about him, I think he's a little too light in the ass. He needs to eat some more jerk chicken and come holler at me.
Light in the ass. What did you make of that?
My man, I'll tell you one thing. I saw him at the after he weighed in. He's trying to shake them cakes. that's nothing. That's like he's light in the ass. I mean, look at him. He looks like a fucking Dorito with chopsticks or toothpicks for legs. He's calling me skinny. Last time someone called me skinny, when I crouched in front of him, I said, "Let's go, bitch. I'll show you skinny." And I used my fucking toothpicks, my chopsticks to crack him in the head. So I saw him live. I seen him. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. He was great when he was fighting, and there wasn't USADA around. But now, I mean, my man need to get back on the pictograms if he wants to be great again.
It feels like you guys are on a collision course. Do you feel the same way?
It's gonna happen. I decided 2 days ago when I was in my hotel room. I decided it's gonna happen at Raider Stadium in Las Vegas. That's where it's gonna happen. We're gonna sell that bitch out. But in 1 year, Ariel, just over a year, I've had 6 fights. And you, Chael Sonnen, Luke Thomas, or anyone in this fucking game who has a brain can see the exponential growth of my game. I get better. He's saying, to be so skinny and not have a ground game. Nigga, did you fucking come on, Kelvin Gastelum. I snatched his neck. The guy don't have a neck. I snatched his neck. Now transitioned to a triangle. I could have finished it, but my knee was already hurt prior to the fight, and I didn't pull out because my pull-out game is weak. And yeah, I have a ground game, but I'm still working on it. Hey, it's gonna happen. Raider Stadium, mark my words, it's gonna happen. Just see what I do in the next 4 fights. Every champion, Ariel, in every combat sports code, boxing, kickboxing, When you dominate, you step up and weight. My man's dominated. He ain't step up and weight. And he said, oh, I don't want to go to heavyweight and give DC the advantage. Bitch, I've done it in kickboxing. I didn't even put on weight. I did it in boxing. I fought Brian Minter and smoked him as well. I'm going to do it in MMA. But I take my time. I took my time to get into the UFC so when I step here, I can be the best in the world. And I took my time. From 2015, I told Danny I could do this shit. But I didn't go until 2018. Well, give me time. 4 more fights. Let me clear the weight class out first. Then I'm going to jump up and show him what's up.
So that's the prediction. 4 more fights. You will fight him in Las Vegas. I see the stadium being built. I'm sure you saw it as well. You want to do it in that open air football stadium.
I kept on looking at it from my room. And something just clicked, and I was like, that's where we're going to do it. No, it's done. I've done this shit. I see it, and I just kind of like, that's it. That's the seed.
Did you see John in Las Vegas? I mean, outside of the fight, did you run into him at all?
I was hoping to. I was ready for it. I mean, fuck. Yeah, I was ready for it, but I haven't seen him. He's an elusive man.
Wow, okay.
That's what the cop said.
Stop.
Jokes. Jokes.
Yes.
Pictograms of jokes.
Wow, you've given us, and this will be at 205, correct, in your vision?
100%. But I'll probably weigh in around 200 pounds.
Okay.
Everyone thinks you have to put on weight to go fight. Size matters if you let it. That's when size matters. But skills pay the bills. Man, I've been paying bills for a long time.
Any
Fuck,
concern?
I got bars today, man. What's up?
With what?
Jesus Christ. And I got bars today.
Yeah, I know. You're on fire, Izzy.
Last night.
You are on fire, my friend.
I came from the Apex. I've just been fucking doing interviews. Fresh off with my man, Bill Castro.
Oh, Ash, my dog.
Harder, baby. Hey, Jeff, say what's up, you dick. But yeah, I mean, fuck, what a life. Get me the fuck out of the city. I want to work.
Could I ask, is there any concern on your part that Robert won't show up October 5th?
I'm trying to see any betting agencies out there who want to work. I want to put some odds if he's gonna make it to the fight. I want to put some odds. Put it out there.
What do you think?
I want him to make it to the fight, so I'm gonna say yeah, he's gonna make it to the fight.
Okay. And when do you think, before I let you go, when do you think that they will announce the location?
When they announce the location?
It's taking so
Text
long.
Dana. Dana's the guy. Text Dana. You know, you guys are BFFs, right?
My number's blocked.
What? No way.
Nah.
It's like that with brothers, though, man. Sometimes brothers got to go through it.
That's right. Can you put in a good word for me next time you talk?
Definitely. I'll let him know. You cool.
All right. Thank you. Izzy, it's always a pleasure, my man. You're the best. This was great stuff. Wow.
Are we done?
Yeah, we're done. We're done.
We're done already.
Well, no,
We're just having fun.
I thought you wanted to go. You opened the door. I was like reminiscent of the John. I got more if you want, but you seemed in a rush.
Let's roll through. I got time for you. I haven't forgotten you yet.
Oh, yeah, I know. You yet is the important word there, because eventually it's gonna, like, now I reach out to Ash, boom.
I'm joking.
October 7th, that Monday, it'll be like, who's this? Ariel? Who's that guy?
Ariel.
What did you make? What did you make of Masvidal's knockout?
Bro, I saw Jesus last night. Straight up. It was Sunday. Is it Sunday or Monday? Where we at?
Sunday. It was Sunday now.
It's Monday now. Fucking get me the fuck out the city. Yeah. I saw him by the pool, man. I saw Jesus by the pool. I was just having a good time, and he came through, and we just shared some words. Even saw Michael Bisping as well.
Oh.
Another man. We shared some words. Yeah, bro. This is. Sometimes I have to like pinch myself and kind of look and be like, how the fuck did I end up here? I'm just a fan. That's my quote for this trip. I'm just a fan. But somehow I ended up here, and I'm in this shit. It's crazy.
I loved your reaction video. You were doing an interview with Aaron Bronstetter when you popped out and then you popped back up, and then the plank comment. I mean, the whole thing was just amazing, your reaction to that. Is that typically how you react to knockouts, or was this one a little more special?
Nah, yeah, that's me. If you watch me when I'm watching fights, even in the front row, I'm very animated. I'm very alive. I'm very juicy. So watching that, I remember in my head I thought, right, I'm just gonna get this done real quick and then just run back to my seat. And yeah, didn't have a chance to. Jesus baptized him.
Unbelievable. By the way, great to see you with Kelvin.
Yeah, that's the dude.
You guys are cool.
We know each other. We're cool. You know, I mean, fighters we're a different breed. Like for me, beef is. I said I'm not vegan, but beef is like it's draining if you hold grudges. Like I'm like, why would I hold a grudge against someone? And Kelvin, we never really had any beef anyway. He was always been cool. But yeah, I told him I was like, I know he's gonna work his way back to the top, and I can't wait to see him again. And he said likewise. And yeah, we know each other now, but there's levels to this shit.
Yeah, that was amazing to see. That was great. Still the fight of the year as we reach the halfway point of 2019. So I'll see if anything could top that. But as of right now, I don't suspect anything will top it. Izzy, now I will let you go. Okay, my man. Thank you so much. You're the man. I appreciate
like that,
this.
bro.
No, it's not.
It's like that.
Well, you know who's standing by? Cuban Jesus is standing by. I don't want to keep him waiting.
Fuck out of here.
Yes, he's next. Can we get them together, or is that too hard? It's probably too hard. Okay.
What do you mean?
Should we try or no?
Us together.
No. All right. We're not going to do it.
That's right. I'll go to Raw.
Okay.
Let him have his time. It's his time to shine. It's his time to shine.
All right. Much love, Izzy. You're the man. Thank you for doing this. Thank you to Ash. Thanks to all of you. Keep us. What is that? Oh, yes. Engage. Respect.
It's a gift.
Respect.
For all the work I've done.
Wow. Look at that.
Such a short time to become champion. It's diamonds, baby.
Wow.
Holy shit.
Diamonds are forever.
It's crazy.
Beautiful. Well done.
So, friends.
See you guys.
Fuck off, Jeff. Peace.
All right, there he is, Israel Adesanya, the last starbender. Let's not keep Cuban Jesus waiting any longer. Let us say hello now to the man they call Game Bread, or Street Jesus, as Michael Chiesa likes to call him, Jorge Masvidal. Look at that. Look at that smile.
What's up, everybody?
How are you?
I'm very good, my friend.
Unbelievable. Well, congratulations, Jorge. This is incredible. What a story, my man. How many times have you watched the knockout?
Seen it a couple times. It's just crazy. People just running up to me, and it's like 5 seconds of their life, my life. So I do it, you know. So we stop and, hey man, I was betting on you. Look what you did. I'm like, I know what I did. But yeah, you know, I've seen it a bunch. This is the one I've seen the most probably of any of my knockouts.
You've almost had 50 professional fights in addition to all the other fights that you've had in your life. Was that the greatest moment of your career thus far?
Nah, not the greatest moment of my career. It was a really good moment because I got to silence a lot of individuals, and one in particular that I didn't like too much, and people were very high on, but this ain't my proudest moments. I've been fighting some animals for a long, long time, you know. Like I said, he doesn't get mentioned to the grandkids of ass whoopings I gave out.
We just spoke to Mike Brown at the beginning of the show, and he told us that it was either you or your coach, your striking coach, Paulino, who came up to him and said, we're going to do this. Do you remember when you came up with the idea that you're going to start the fight like that with the flying knee?
Yeah.
Could you tell us?
Yeah, I remember. Well, I'm like, man, should I give him a full?
Yeah, it's full.
On how many? You want the whole thing on how I know that the knee was going to be for a fact this guy couldn't stop it? You want to know how?
Yeah.
It's a little bit of psychology. Now, I can't give up my psychology tips. There's too many fighters watching, man. But listen, the way that he acted in just real life when I get him on the fly, you know, and what I mean by fly is like he's walking and I'm walking and I just pop up on him. The way I habitually popped up on him and made him just freeze up, I knew he couldn't handle improvisation. What's it called when you do it at the moment? Yeah, that word. Like impulse. You know? He can't handle that shit, man. He can't handle changes. And I hit him with a nice little change of speeds. He didn't like it one bit.
So from the moment this fight was announced, you knew that you were going to start that way?
Nah. It wasn't like that, you know. Once it got announced, I was like, yeah, I'm going to beat this guy's ass for 14 minutes. And then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to check him right off the gate and see where he's at. And then when I came here and I saw him in the flesh and I saw how weak he is actually, because maybe I miss what whoever helping him now is doing a good job for him, but on the fly, he can't do anything. He can't talk to nobody, especially if it's just me and him, you know. So to have those type of characteristics, you're a person that can adapt and survive, and he showed it.
How many times do you think you drilled that?
I drill my techniques a lot. Every one of my techniques. That's why I have some okay techniques. I drill them a lot, man. That's just all I do, you know? You could ask like Mike Brown. I'm not going to give out the numbers, but I drill a lot, man. I'm just not going to give them because they're personal to me.
Okay, fair enough. When you actually start the fight like that and you land it and he gets knocked out cold, can you describe what that feeling is like?
I was just saying to myself, I told you so. Like a lot, you know, because I knew I was going to do it. You know, I wasn't surprised or nothing. I had envisioned it in my head so many times. Besides the fact that if I was okay with all scenarios, it could happen. You know, if I missed and he took me down and we scrambled right away, if I just completely missed and he was nowhere near me, or if I hit him in the chest and we kept going, I had all the scenarios in my head and I was comfortable with all of them. So I just had to put that guy away and show him he's not in this league. He's not at that level.
What did you say to him after the knockout? It seemed like you were saying something to him. You were slamming your hand on the mat.
First of all, Ariel, I was counting him out. I wasn't just slapping my hand on the mat being ratchet, okay? Don't try to be one of these guys that I went overboard now on him.
No, I didn't say that.
I was pretty damn contained and very, very nice to him, I think, you know? I'm the type of dude like, man, talk at all times. Fuck it. Back it up. Whenever you see me in person, back it up. Bring that talking. You don't have to hit each other or nothing, but bring that talking. And he couldn't do that. Before the fight, during the fight, after the fight. That's how I like to lead people. Without none of that shit talking. Let's just go. Let's just go.
So what did you say to him, though?
Talk that shit now. Besides, I counted him out.
Right. Amazing. It's unbelievable to see what's happened to you, Jorge. You're like a gigantic superstar now. After all these years, 16 years in the game. How do you react to all of this?
I need more money.
That's a good response.
A lot more money. I need money, man. It's the fucking truth. I need more money. What the fuck?
Time to get paid.
Fuck yes, man.
For all those years.
Dude,
you have receipts.
All these years and then some. And I'm still putting on amazing fights for people. My body is the same or gotten better since you saw this year because people are getting checked. I'm fucking like a relic in this bitch. You know what I'm saying? Enjoy the fastest KO in the world. So somebody is probably the most disliked dude in all of MMA. You're welcome, MMA community. And for all the people he was talking shit about that were actual fighters too, take that one with you.
And so are you going to try to get paid now? Are you going to try to get a new deal?
I mean, I don't want to say too much, but yeah.
Okay.
Something's got to happen.
And what about your next fight? Will it be for the belt?
If the numbers are right, yeah. If not, I don't know. I mean, why wouldn't I be fighting for the belt next? Is there somebody more that you'd want to see fighting for that belt? Who? And be honest with yourself and then with the rest of the world. Who do you want to see fight for that belt, man?
Well, you're on fire. It seems like there's a two-horse race between you and your friend Colby Covington, and so that leads me to the question of how are you guys going to sort this out? Because you guys are tight, right? You're boys.
Well, we're only fighting if one of them has the title, so.
What happens on August 3rd if he does something spectacular and they say, okay, we're going to give it to Colby?
And I wait and I get the winner of.
Okay.
I want to do something like that.
You're okay with that?
I'll see my options after that, you know?
Right.
I like to fight. I want to fight the world's best. I don't want to take another step back in my career. I'm too old to be taking these step backs.
Right.
This last guy that I fought, I already forgot his fucking name, man. But what's his face on a skill set was a step back. Yeah, he's got a lot of DataBot followers and shit like that. That has nothing to do with actual fighting. You know, have you seen this guy produce punching power or anything like that on his hands and feet? To put this guy in there, I can't believe the commission sanctioned that. Let me tell you something. The UFC's probably going to end up having a problem if they keep letting this guy fight around. They're going to get a lawsuit from hell, like science teacher suing UFC for letting him allow and participate in these events. That motherfucker needs to just quit it, man.
You think he should retire?
After fighting me, what do you think? I changed that motherfucker's life just like I said in every interview.
You know, he was on my show earlier, and you know he's handling it with as much class as possible. Do you still feel the same animosity towards him, or do
what? I mean, obviously I don't watch his interviews.
Yeah.
My boy right back here. Hey, come over here. Say hello, man. This guy let me know if it's something like worth looking at from time to time. Which
There he is.
You don't have shit.
The man himself,
but yeah,
Abe
man,
Kawa.
I did it. What did he say? What did he say? Fill us in.
Honestly, he said, you know, he gave you all the props. He said, of course, he still doesn't really like you very much, but he did not, you know, he didn't make excuses. He didn't make fun of you. He didn't have a problem with the punches afterwards. He said he expected that. So, I mean, it was...
Why? Why did you expect that?
Because of the smack talking. Because of the animosity.
But that's... You see? That's the dude that took it to the personal. Like I always say, it's business. I had to give him those 2 punches. The referee had him pull me off, man. I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
I'm not as good. For example, I'm not as talented as Shevchenko. She knows when a body is dead. I'm like a dumb dog. I'm just going to keep attacking because I don't know. You know?
Sure. You know, you could make a case that it would have been like a 3-second knockout, right? If the referee was closer to you guys.
It is. It definitely. We've ran it. I've seen this so many times. It's definitely not 5 seconds.
Right. Should be 3. I mean, no one would ever touch that, ever, if it's 3.
Yeah.
Probably if it's 5 as well. What are you eating, by the way? It looks great.
French toast with some blueberries.
How many pieces of French toast?
How many pieces of French toast? Because you had a lot of syrup there.
Just 2.
Just 2, okay.
Staying on the light side.
I appreciate that. What has life been like since the knockout? Have you been enjoying your time in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
No trips to Turkey or anything?
No trips to nowhere, man. Not that I tell you on camera anyways, Ariel.
Okay, all right. It's just great. You know, I have to say I'm genuinely happy for you. I remember all those split decisions, Jorge. You know, the Quinta fight and Benson Henderson, all those close fights, Damian Maia, split decision. And it's a really nice story to see one of the OGs of the game, you know, finally get that love and recognition, I have to say.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I love the fight. Like I've always said, I'm going to keep fighting and busting dudes up. You know what's right for me, man? You got to tell the people who you still didn't answer my question. Who do you want to see fight for that belt, man?
Right this second?
Right this second. If you could pick Ariel's fantasy matchups,
yeah.
Who is it?
Well, it would be you right this second, but I kind of want to wait and see what happens August 3rd as well. But right this second, it has to be you, 100%.
Hey, say no more, my brother. Thank you.
Yes, of course.
Those that follow Ariel with the cult-like following, go voice your opinion on social media. Who should be fighting for that title, man?
I mean, I don't know if there's any other question at this juncture. Right this second, there's no one else. It seems to be the fight that makes all the sense in the world. I'm just wondering, is there a part of you, like when you have a knockout like that, I've never experienced anything like it, is there a part of you that almost feels unfulfilled? Like you said 14-minute fight, and you have 5 seconds in there. Like, how do you get the adrenaline out? How do you get that energy out? It was so short.
I hit some sprints when I got to the back. A little bit of abs and shit. Nothing crazy.
Is that true? You really did that?
Yeah, just a little bit. I was more pissed off, you know, than anything for some other reasons.
Why pissed off?
I can't say it on TV.
What?
Abraham told me so.
Come on, Abe. Lighten up. This is the man right here. He can do whatever he wants. Name names.
Sorry, man. I can't.
Wow. So something happened before the fight or after the fight?
I don't know if I could even disclose that, man.
Abe, jeez. Man, all of a sudden, you guys are tight-lipped. You've always been an open book.
I know, man, but every once in a while, he does those dark 030 projects on it, and I can't speak of it like it never happened, you know?
Okay.
Believe me, you can't get shit out of me, man.
I feel you. By the way, do you remember the fight, your first fight together with Abe?
Yeah, I do.
Which one was it?
First one you're on board with that one was Eric Silva.
I got slow guy.
What was the other guy?
85 pounds drop.
Yeah, Silva.
Not Eric Silva.
That's Silva. No. Ask Ariel. Hold on.
He said, no, it's not his name, man.
What's his name?
My first fight was the Ultimate Fighter winner. They won it at 185, and then he dropped to 170.
The Brazilian.
The Brazilian dude.
The Brazilian.
I got him in the first round with the elbow.
Oh, Cesar Ferreira.
Cesar Ferreira.
Muchach. So that was back in 2015. Actually, it was International Fight Week. So exactly 4 years you guys have been together. After that, you had the 2 split decision losses to Benson and Lorenz. Then you had the 3 wins in the row. And then you had the Maya and Wonderboy losses, and then these 2. And I just feel like I want to know if you agree with me on this. I was talking before we had you on that ever since, and especially in the last couple of years, that in this particular relationship and partnership that you have with your manager, he has really helped a lot in terms of building your following, your character. You've told me that you don't like the social media stuff, you don't like the Twitter, the Instagram, all that, but he's helped you really. It's one thing to just win, but you have to do all the other stuff as well. Would you agree with that? That you guys really have, I don't want to say, you've done this together, and there's a partnership there. That right?
I can speak on it, baby. Oh, that's the brains of the operation. This is a circus show, and we're just going to town, fitting out these carpets for the freak show. And he's the brains of the operation. I'm the fucking talent. Duh. You know what I'm saying? So we get this money, man.
Yeah. Is there a part of you that feels like
if it wasn't for him, this Skype would be unavailable because I don't even have Skype on my phone.
I know. Trust me. I know. That's why I
See what I'm
appreciate
saying?
him. Yes.
You see how deep this shit goes?
I know. But is there a part of you that feels like it's about damn time? It's about damn time I'm getting this recognition. I'm on SportsCenter. All these people are loving me. I've been doing this for so long. Where you guys been?
Yeah, that's pretty cool because that's going to equal the bigger checks, which is something I definitely want. I want some good-sized paychecks. I'm not asking for nothing crazy. I just need to get paid. I deserve to get paid. You know what I'm saying? There's big differences here, man.
Yeah, I hear you. What happens?
They got me at the wrong. They got me at the wrong tax bracket right now. Is how I feel.
Okay. And what happens if you see Ben again? What do you think will happen? Is it done between you guys?
Say something. I'll say something. I mean, I'm never gonna put my hands on him because, well, I'm not trying to kill nobody, bro. So I wouldn't put my hands on him or nothing. But if I see him and he's talking shit, I'm gonna just talk shit right back. If he looks to the floor and fucking minds his business, I'll do the same. I don't care to beat a dead horse.
I thought it was. I thought it was very big of you. You were on the set with Michael Bisping on Saturday. No problems there.
Yeah, I mean, right before my fight with Till, Bisping could have, if he wanted to be an asshole, he could have, because it was right before my fight, and he wasn't. He was anything but, and that showed me so much fucking respect and class. He didn't try to, and we hadn't really ever seen each other, so he just seen me. He looked at me, shook his head, put his hand down, and I forgot if he said good luck or good day, something like that. And I just thought it was cool that he wasn't a dick or nothing like that when he knew that I had the fight coming up, and he could have been trying to fuck with me just to throw me off my zone, which wouldn't have worked. But, there's a lot of assholes like that,
Yeah.
And it was just cool that he didn't. So after that, I was just like, man, yeah, it's just bullshit. Let's just put it in the past, bro.
I got to say that the pose of you with your hands behind your back, you got to stick with that. That has become your pose, my friend. As they said on the ESPN.
Yeah, that's one of them.
That's one of them?
That's one of them, man.
And you hit us with the El Muerte as well.
El Muerto.
You gave us the whole repertoire there on Saturday, Jorge. It's amazing. I'm very happy for you. Congratulations. I'll let you have your breakfast now or your brunch or whatever it is.
No, I'm done. Now you got my full attention. I'm done with that.
Well, they're telling me I have to say goodbye because I've gone way over time here. But this has been great. You're the man. When do you go back home? When do you go back to Florida?
There's rumors saying maybe tomorrow. There's rumors saying even maybe Saturday. I don't know.
What? It's Tuesday or Saturday? Big gap in between.
That's what they're telling me, man.
All right. Well, it's great.
I'm just telling you what they told me.
Westchester's own Jorge Masvidal. He's come a long way from the
Miami's own.
Okay.
Miami, Florida.
All right. My bad. The
All
305.
Miami's mine.
That's right.
Yeah, the whole Miami's always been mine. Believe me, man.
All right. All right. From the backyard brawls with Kimbo to the bright lights of Las Vegas. Yes?
And tell me your boy Levitar wants to interview him. Tell him
You know what that is?
He knows who it is.
He wanted me to say one of those jokes that's like tasteless and stuff. I'm not going to say it, though.
What does he want you to say?
He wanted me to tell you like a tasteless joke to say to you.
What? I thought we were cool.
Yeah, I was like, Yeah, but you know how Abe is, man.
Yeah. All right. We'll leave it at that. Jorge, you're the man. Congratulations. That was incredible. Keep watching that. Revel in it. Well done. And we'll talk to you soon. All the best to you. And thank you to Abe as well.
So, hey, Ariel, I'll say it now, like I've always said for a long time. We've been working for a while together. You've always showed me a lot of love, man. And it's not a coincidence that we've been doing this for so long, so strong. But we're just some good, genuine people that love what we do, man. That's it, man.
That's right. That's right. Thank you very much to him. And thank you very much to Abe for setting that up. All right. It has been a fun day. I think we were out of time, right? We have done our thing. Oh, they hit our music. Jorge Masvidal knocked out Ben Askren in 5 seconds. The fastest finish in UFC history. Unbelievable. Third flying knee knockout of the year. Michel Pereira, Johnny Walker, the other two. Masvidal was a plus 185 underdog going to that. We'll see what happens next. Got to see what happens with Colby Covington, but he is certainly in that driver's seat. All right, we are out of time. Thank you very much to everyone who stopped by today. Thank you very much to everyone who tuned in. We had some crazy numbers today. Today was a good day. Nice little birthday present. I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much to Arnold Allen, Mike Brown, Michael Chiesa, Colby Covington, Dominick Reyes, Jimi Manuwa, Ben Askren, Francis Ngannou, Israel Adesanya, and Jorge Masvidal. What a day it has been on the program. One that I will never forget. What a card UFC 239 was. Contender Series, PFL, Bellator, UFC, all happening this week again. We'll be back next week to talk about it all, but for now, we're out of time. If you missed anything, check it out. iTunes, Twitter, YouTube, the app, all those places and more. Back next week, same time and place. Until then, I say peace. I'm out of here.